waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rub. Who did he see when he heard I was there? Now it seems that
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lagerroom Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, February the 11th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai. That sounds fun.
It's Get Out Your Guitar Day, so it's been a while since I busted the bass out, so I figured I'd bring it out and do a little practicing on here.
Mm-hmm. Well, happy Get Out, it's not national. Happy Get Out Your Guitar Day. So now, a bass is a guitar.
A bass is a guitar. It's a 4-string guitar.
Right.
It's tuned. It's got thicker, strings that are lower tuned than a 6-string or acoustic guitar.
Correct.
Right.
My point in saying that, and very educational, in case there's anybody out there that does not know that, but my point in saying that is national or happy Get Out Your Guitar Day. You can get out any guitar, right?
It could be a
ukulele.
I think it'd be any string ukulele, a mandolin, zitar.
I think it's pushing the boundaries of it, but I see what you're saying.
It rhymes.
But if it was Get Out Your Bass Day, you could only get out a bass.
You could only get out a bass, but this is a bass guitar.
So it would almost be like Get Out Your Beer Day or Get Out Your Czech Dark Lager Day. Get out your beer day, get out any beer.
Right.
Supposed to. So, but this is Get Out Your Guitar Day. So I'll get out mine too.
Oh, you play us a little something, John.
No, I'm not gonna.
No.
It's probably out of tune because I haven't.
We're both apparently we both like Ibanez.
Yeah, exactly.
You got an Ibanez. Let me put this away. All this practicing has made me thirsty.
It's out of tune, so we'll leave it at that. 2 chords, call it a day. It's actually one with 2 different,
Would you invert it or?
No, it just I suspended it.
Oh, you suspended it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
I was about to play Fly By Night.
A lot like I was in high school, suspended.
There you go. Exactly. But anyway, happy Get Out Your Guitar Day.
Oh yeah. So, that's not the only day it is today, because we never come armed with only one special day.
Not at all. It is also, it's also National Latte Day. Happy National Latte Day.
I did have one with lunch today.
You had a latte with your lunch. I know what you had for lunch too.
I had a panino.
Yes, you did.
With mortadella.
Yeah, it must have been delicious. Or I'm sorry, it must have been delicioso.
Delicioso. So yeah, there was that, and we do have another one, and we'd like to shout out to all of our extraterrestrial friends out there.
Yes, because there are many of them. Happy Extraterrestrial Culture Day.
We recognize your culture
exactly.
and applaud it.
And we applaud
it. It's special, just like everybody's culture.
Exactly.
There we go.
Exactly. So those are the days for you, and a little nuttiness as we normally do. Dave, however, because he had the bass out, was not eating tonight. So
for a change, I ate just before the show.
There you go. Which normally happens, but he just continues eating on the show.
It's also National Peppermint Patty Day today. I was going to eat a peppermint patty, but it would have interfered with the beer.
Yeah, it would have interfered with the beer. I thought about it too, and I was actually at the store. I was going to grab a couple peppermint patties. I'm like, you know what? With the beers we're drinking, I'm not doing that.
No. These we want to taste these beers because we have in our arsenals here. We have some of our favorite beers brewed in this country.
We do. We definitely
by one of our favorite breweries in this country.
That is 100% true as well.
And if you remember going back a few years when we did the top 3 favorite places to sit and drink a beer, what was my number 1?
That was this brewery.
The brewery that's on John's hat, which is Schilling Brewing, and saying Schilling Beer. Sorry.
And two and a half years ago when we did that top 3 list, I have had plenty of the beer, but I had not been to the brewery. I have since been to the brewery, and it has replaced my top 1 as well.
Yeah, it is just gorgeous sitting there on that balcony. But you know what? Let's talk about someone who's there almost every
Why don't we
day.
do that? Let's bring on our guest. Please welcome to the show from all the way from Schilling Beer Company in Littleton, New Hampshire, Mr. Zac Porter. Zac, how you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Perfect. I need to open a beer.
Got to put on your. There we go. There's your.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We definitely been wanting to do this, as we obviously just said, and we've been working this out for a while. So we're happy we finally got it done. We're happy we've got you on. So.
The head
Likewise.
of the head of brand and marketing, correct? Is that your title?
That is correct. Yeah, you got it, Dave.
There you
And
go.
we met at what is the name of that event? My God, I just forgot the name of the event.
It was Drownlands Brewery
Yes, it
Wild
was
Acres
Drownlands
Festival.
Wild Acres.
Wild Acres. That's
Wild
what
Acres,
it was.
yep.
We met there, and he
Yeah,
was
it
cool.
was a while back. I'm glad we finally could make this happen.
100%.
Oh yeah. And
I know we've been talking about it for a while now, so
Yeah, because we're just we're gonna try not to be fanboys too much. It's gonna be hard to back it off because we've had a lot of breweries in the show, and we usually don't fanboy out on them, but it's gonna be hard here. The my God, this pours beautifully.
Yes,
nice, Dave. What are you guys drinking? What do you got there?
So you sent me this one, Nordertor.
Classic.
This is the Northern German style Pilsner.
Yeah, right
we
there.
thought we'd start here because of all the beers we're drinking, this is probably the lightest bodied, most delicate of flavors. That noble hop aroma is fantastic.
It's
One of my favorites. Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Prost.
Cheers.
Yes.
I actually have our one of our classic German style pilsners here, Jacobus.
Oh, Jacobus,
One of my
yep.
favorites. Yep. So we're
Jacobus
both
is
on the German
fantastic.
Pill strain.
That's
There
fantastic.
we
Good.
go.
I have the crawl. I didn't throw it up. There we go. There's the crawl.
That's an Nordertor.
There you go. Yeah, I do, Dave. The glass you're drinking out of, I'm saving for the Einbach.
Well, I'm going to be bouncing forth between the two glasses that I have that are Schilling logoed.
I only have one, that one. So and the other styles we're drinking, I figured I'd mix it up.
Well,
And-
the trip up there, I came back with both these glasses.
Gotcha.
They had apparently at the time, everybody in New Hampshire is fit. They had no shirts for fat boys like me.
No, myself neither. And smell like I was getting a cap anyway. Obviously.
Yeah, when John isn't wearing a cap, no one recognizes him.
This is very, very true. So.
I do like that hat, Johnny. It's a good one.
As do I. But I actually was going to come. I would have come home with 4 or 5 glasses, but that wouldn't have worked that well.
No.
So too much glassware, not enough room for it all. Anyway, all right.
I'm with you.
All right. So we're all drinking German pills. That's great. And let's start this off with the first question we ask every guest, for at least the first time they come on the show.
Asking the second time they come on the show would be silly.
It would be silly, right? Because it wouldn't change, right? So anyway,
Zach,
Zach,
we're gonna have to test somebody one of these days.
it's the first, right, Zach? To the best of your knowledge, the best of your recollection, I should say, what was the very first craft beer you ever had? It can be craft, ish.
First
This one's not a macro
beer.
lager, right?
Yeah, no, I immediately think of, I say Sierra Nevada Pale a lot, but I don't know if that's the first. I think for me it would be something probably from Magic Hat or Long Trail, like way back. I had an older brother, and he was always drinking double bag from Long Trail, which I actually didn't like at all.
Mm-hmm.
But that would probably be one of my first craft beers. Was one of those old school Vermont craft breweries for sure.
Gotcha.
Yep.
You can't say you don't like double bag in front of John.
No, well, that was when I was.
That was no. Look,
I'm joking.
Johnny, I was probably wasn't even 21 at that point. It was when I didn't even know beer.
Well, yeah,
I
I mean,
just drinking what my brother had. So
everybody's palate changes. If I had a double bag when I was 19 years old, I'm sure I wouldn't have liked it either. So
yeah.
I mean, the first time like everybody else, we've migrated away from IPAs, right? I rarely drink IPAs, even some of the ones we brew, I barely drink, right? But I did, there's a time I still love a great, West Coast or something really piney, really resiny. But if you gave me an IPA back when I was 18, 19 years old, I would have spit it out.
Right.
That wasn't.
I think mine was probably a Magic Hat number 9.
That makes
sense.
It's coming to mind. Yep.
Makes sense. And then when did you actually start liking craft beer?
Yeah, how long after that? How long did your palate develop at that point?
I mean, I got into it a little bit in college, but when I was about, I want to say 22, I went and backpacked Europe with a good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And being in Belgium and over that way and drinking, I actually fell in love with wheat beers to start.
Really?
Like a nice Belgian wheat, like a Hoegaarden that you could really get anywhere. So that kind of started my love for beer and traveling around Europe. We hit Germany, we were in Austria, a number of different spots, and that's where I really kind of fell in love
Nice.
with beer. Yeah.
Very nice.
We were drinking Hoegaarden on the show last week.
Last week, as a matter of fact, we've
Nice.
never 4.5 years we never had a Hoegaarden on the show, and we did the chocolate pairing last week, and the chocolatier that we had on suggested for the one chocolate we pair with Hoegaarden. So
it was a
That's
limoncello. It was a limoncello chocolate,
limoncello chocolate that we paired with. It was fantastic.
Okay.
It was ridiculous.
and he's
Chocolate
a
and the pairing.
and he's a Belgian master chocolatier.
Master chocolate, not just a chocolatier, master chocolate.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so he lets
sounds
you. That
good.
was great. Yeah, worked so beautifully.
Zach, this is fantastic. That's the first time it's the first time I had the Norderner.
I've had it
And,
before, and I love this one.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, shout out to our brewers, man. They just kill it over here. We're just so lucky to have those guys and the detail and attention they put in the beer.
Right.
There's a reason I've been here. It'll be almost 5 years in September. So
Oh, wow.
the beer, I'd say, is number one, man. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Awesome. That's really good.
I don't think there's ever been a Schilling I've put past my lips that I went, well, that's subpar.
To not belabor the story we were talking about earlier, excuse me, Jess and I last April went up, and we were actually there on my birthday because that was we went up to Burlington, and I said we got up on the 27th. We stayed on the Saturday. We stayed till Tuesday, but I said Sunday, my birthday. I says we're driving over from Burlington. We're driving over to Littleton. Right. The plan was to stay there for an hour and a half, eat, have a couple beers, leave, and then come back and do some other stuff closer to Burlington. Almost 4 hours later, we left. So Dave was like, I was going to get beer for him and bring it back. And he texts me, he says, I'm sure you're not still there. I totally forgot to text you. I says, nope, I'm still here. What do you want?
That's awesome. Schilling will do that. Schilling will do that to you. I'll tell you what, when I
God.
came up and interviewed with Jeff and Stu in 2020, I probably was up here about 6-7 hours just drinking beer and hanging with those guys. I mean, it's tough when you have a lager on the riverside here. It'll get you to stay, especially on a good day.
And even in the winter, when you're sitting in front of the fireplace, that's always just inside that door from the balcony.
Yep, you know the spot,
hangs over
Dave.
the river. Yeah, it hangs over that river. And there's that red bridge, that red covered bridge, and you look out past there and you look downstream on the balcony. That's great. But just go into the door, sit in front of the on that comfy couch in front of the fireplace, and you just don't want to move.
No, you don't want to go here.
It's like, where's the waitress service?
we had it. We got there. We went over to the tap room, not the restaurant. We went over to the tap room, had a couple of beers, and then we went inside and got food. And we were in there. We ate way too much because we ordered, and then we ordered again, and we had more beer there. And then we went back over, just had another beer, and then she left because she wanted to walk up to the main drag and go to the candy store.
That's
You got to hit Chudder's.
Yep. And she was in there. She was in there for almost as long as I was in the tap room, having another couple of beers and figuring out what I'm taking home. She was up at the candy store. So.
You missed the vintage record shop, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't get there. We were going to leave, but we had to start getting back. So I was going to pull over, and then it was busy that day. So when I went around, I was going to go back in there and back in Trotters with her and go in the record shop, and there was nowhere to park. I'm like, you know what? Next time, and we head back. So we had to get back. We had dinner reservations, and we still wanted to stop. Make a couple stops along the way on the way back. But
yeah, this is
anyway. Enough about that. So, are you up in New Hampshire? Are you closer down this way, or where are you?
Nope,
out?
I'm in Littleton. I'm right here at the brewery. I'm actually in one of our. Yeah, I'm at my office right now, and my spot's up here in the White Mountains. So I stay up here when I'm not traveling.
Gotcha. Now, are you originally from up there, or did you move up there once you got the job, or?
No, yeah, I moved up. My family's from North Boston, and actually I grew up in Keene, New Hampshire, which is down in that southern corner between Mass and Vermont.
Sure, I know where Keene is.
Yeah. And went to school over at UNH, so I've always been floating in around New Hampshire, over on the seacoast, and now I'm in the Whites, which I absolutely love, and feel pretty lucky to live up here. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
It's just beautiful up there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, I love New Hampshire. I don't think there's any place. Well, there's a few places in New England I wouldn't be, but most of them are closer to this way. But between some areas of Connecticut, but Rhode Island, Massachusetts, I'm a huge Boston guy.
Mm.
But yeah, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine are just or they're just the shit for me. I mean,
Yep.
you can say you want to go here as long as the town has a comma and then one of those 3 states after it. Doesn't matter where we're going. Yeah, let's go.
I love that.
I love it. So anyway,
I think the closest
so you
I've
start.
ever been. I think I drove through Keene. The closest I've ever been to Keene is I climbed Monadnock once.
There you go.
Yeah, classic. Great spot. I mean, there's not much in Keene, let's be honest. Little college town.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of breweries in Keene.
There are some good breweries. Yeah.
There are some Branch and Blade, I think, is there.
Yeah, you got Branch and Blade.
Just south of it,
Modest Man.
Modest Man. Yeah, there's some good liquid in
And
Keene.
honestly, one of my favorite spots, which you guys won't have unless you go, is Elm City Brewery.
Elm
Little
City,
local
you know what?
brewery. Yeah, they serve their beer on site, and their wings are some of my favorite. That's kind of the local pub
I'm pretty
spot.
sure I've had some Elm City at somewhere up there, but I've never been. But I've definitely had it, or somebody had it. I definitely had it. I can look on my Untapped when I did and where I was, but I haven't been to the brewery. But yeah, anything up there. We were just talking about another trip up that way. We got to get back up there. Got to get up to the brewery. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, we'll talk about the brewery and the surroundings and the picturesque ness, if you will, of the surrounding and the picturesqueness. Yeah, there you go. The beautiful area which it sits. How's that?
Jonathan's eloquenceness.
My eloquenceness. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if Eric can say nose feel, I can say picturesqueness. Okay,
Yeah, but he's trademarked that.
that's true. Very true. More on that later. Anyway, Zach. So had you worked for any breweries before Schilling, or in the industry or whatever? So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have. I think you were talking about having my first craft beer and getting into craft beer. I think my first real taste and passion for craft beer came from a brewery called Jackie O's in Athens.
That's one of my
So
favorites.
I was, I studied international affairs and was lucky enough to travel for work for a little while. And one program I was doing in Southeast Asia, actually a best friend of mine, guy Matt Spolar, was a director of marketing at Jackie O's. So I had showed up in Cambodia, and Matt had about 3 bottles of beer that he brought, which were like the first sour ales I ever had, wild spawn beer, like
Sure.
barrel aged barley wine. And Brad Clark at the time, who was the head brewer at Jackie O's, made phenomenal beers. And that just sort of blew my mind. I had never had anything like that. So in between semesters of us working over there, rather than going home, I'd go with Matt to Athens. We'd stay with Brad, and I kind of just got to hang out at the brewery and volunteer any way I could and kind of see what they did. And that made me really fall in love with craft beer and kind of triggered my mind to get into that industry. So I had come back home, had a little bit of experience in Boston, and got a job for a small craft brewery in New Hampshire that actually wasn't very good, but gave me some really good experience on what not to do. And kind of challenged my sales skills a little bit, which I was grateful for back then.
Absolutely. No, I was going to say if that's absolutely the thing to do. As weird as it sounds, if you could succeed or at least build your chops, so to speak, in a situation like that, like not because if you walk into the perfect situation, you're not going to appreciate it.
Right.
So if you walk into something that's a struggle
Or
in
learn
every
anything.
aspect,
or learn anything.
right? So,
Yeah, I'm grateful for that experience for sure. And then I did a year at that brewery, kind of grinding it out in New Hampshire, and then I was lucky enough to get a job down at Trillium in Boston, in Canton, actually, when it was kind of like peak Trillium. Kind of saw them grow from small to big, which was really neat. And the experience I had there was just phenomenal. So I was there about 2.5 years, and then COVID hit, and I was doing sales and events and everything. So when COVID hit, the whole city shut down, right? Boston was closed, no events. And I was hanging out for a little while, furloughed from my job, and an industry friend actually passed my resume along to the guys at Schilling. So one day I got a random email from Stuart Cousins, who's one of our owners, and they invited me up to kind of chat about this sales role, and the rest is kind of history. And I've been up here now almost 5 years, and I love the team we have and the guys I work for. So it's kind of where we're at now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That what things like that. I hear stories like that. Yeah, somebody passed your resume along. They knew what you were about. They knew what they needed. They made the connection in their mind. But that's what this industry is all about, right? I mean, I don't know of a better industry where everybody is, just, family, right?
Tight knit, yeah.
It's very tight knit. It's a very, very, very small, if you will, community, as big as it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing I love about this industry, and for me being in my role, it's all about the people. It's
Sure.
the connections, it's the relationships, it's sharing, amazing times and stories over good beer and the camaraderie, and I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Not at all, 100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you.
So I like this progression. You start hanging out at a brewery that makes amazing beer. Jackie O's is one of my favorites, and I lament the fact that we can no longer get them in Jersey. It's been a long time since I've got to go to Massachusetts to find it, because that's closer than going to Ohio. Then you go to a brewery that's not quite doing things right. You learn how to do things. Then you go to big name brewery in Trillium. What's weird about the time you got furloughed is when I started frequenting Canton. I was on those lines. I was on those lines around the big dead end, the big cul-de-sac there to get my beer, because I lived 2 blocks from this place, which is Smug Brewing in Pawtucket at the time.
Oh, nice.
And then you head up north to Schilling, who at the time you headed up there, they weren't. I don't think they were huge on the national map yet. Right. So, we only, what would you say? It's only been about 3 years, John, that we've really known about them. No, it's got to be more than that.
No, it's more than that.
It's got to be more than that, because I've been up there. I was up there probably in 2021.
Yeah, no, it's probably right before COVID that we knew, that we knew about.
Yeah. So I misspoke on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just in your mind, it's still 2022, so you were right.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, when I kind of had that time off from Trillium, Schilling for me was always the best brewery in New Hampshire. I always kind of had an eye on what they were doing, and kind of loved what they had going on in Littleton. So it just kind of worked out, and it was, happened to be a blessing and a good fit. And like I said, I love it up here. So we've tried to bring these beers to light and the brand and kind of get it out there a bit more. So it's neat to see the progression we've had. And also the progression of lager in our industry. So it's been a neat experience to kind of see the puzzle pieces fit together a little bit.
100%. Do you?
It was September of 2020 is when I was there.
There you go.
And
in Trillium. So that was my first month at Schilling. Oh, really?
Schilling.
Yeah, that was my first month at Schilling.
That looked familiar.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That would be the fireplace I was speaking of.
I probably walked right by you and didn't even know it.
You may have poured me my beer. It's possible.
So now you worked when you were at Trillium, where I believe they were still there. At least one of them, Nick and Zach, the guys that opened up Bellflower up in Portland.
Yeah. So Nick was my boss at Trillium.
There you go.
Yeah, great guy. Both Nick and Zach are great dudes.
Yeah, they are.
And similar to Nick, similar to me. Oh, really? That's awesome.
He's on the show, yeah.
Similar to me, Nick was furloughed from his job, and he had a ton of experience. He really built out a ton of the projects at Trillium. So when he was opening Bellflower with Zach, man, I was just pumped, and they're crushing it now up in Portland. It's awesome.
They really are.
Yeah.
Was he one of the ones we had on the show, John?
We had him on the show, yeah. We had Nick and Zach on the show, yeah.
Goofy guy.
Oh, we had so much fun with it. We were at Bellflower. We were at Bellflower. We had done I don't know how many breweries that day. By the time I got,
hold on. You not only do you not know how many breweries you did that day, but we started drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning
at Allagash.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Jess and I, because we left, Jess and I were there for 3 days, and that was the end of our trip. You guys had just gotten there back from Acadia, right?
Acadia, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jess and I had left after Industrial Industrial Way area, and we went down to Boston. But they kept going, so he texted me. He's like, got to Bellflower, couldn't appreciate it as much as I wanted to, but it was great.
I couldn't taste anything by that point, but I grabbed a couple bottles to bring home, and I'm glad I did, so that I could really appreciate how good those guys are.
Well, then we had them on the show a month or so later too. So
okay,
it's easy to do in Portland.
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing probably a party foul by using the same glass, but another beautiful beer here. This is Volksgarten.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice one, Dave.
The Vienna Lager. This is again, thanks to Zach on this one. This is a beautiful beer.
Yeah, it's a beautiful beer. That's more traditional style Vienna. modeled after the OG from the 1800s. It's a little more pale than you'd see in a modern Vienna lager.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really lets the malt shine. I love that beer, man. It's a beauty.
I love that. It's funny because Nordertur, you're really the hops really shine here. The noble hops really come out. What do we have? Hellertauer in that. Hellertau. What's do you know what's in it?
Yeah, the northern. Well, it's a little bit different. So even compared to something like Jacobus, you're going to have a little more of the malt shine, like the crackery, really nice biscuit notes.
Definitely.
Where the Northern German Pils, Dave, you're exactly right. You're going to get a little more of that hop bitterness for the Northern German. Oh, there you go. You got the same one, Johnny.
Same one, yeah. Right.
And this Vienna lager, man, this one, that malt is just amazing right there. And the thing is, I'm sure after drinking it after Nordertor,
oh my god,
it's probably knocking down any hop notes from Volkgarten. So all we're getting right now is the malts. By the time we get to the end of the glass, we'll start really, those hops will start to shine.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably balancing them out a little bit more, but
right now,
you're right. The bread and the cracker and this is amazing.
It's like a malt tea right now.
Yeah.
It's just and I'm enjoying that, but I can't wait for the hops to start showing up after Nordertur gets washed out.
But all right, so you're at Schilling this year. Later this year, it's almost 5 years that you're at Schilling. So
yeah, it'll be September, and we're going to be coming up on our 12th anniversary at Schilling, right around our Oktoberfest. So
yeah, we in fact when I was up there, we were talking. I was talking to somebody in the tap room, younger kid, only worked there maybe a month or two at that point. He was telling me, but learned his shit a lot because he on the ball and everything. But he was saying, yeah, you really got to get back up here for Oktoberfest. And I'm, no way I could get away, but maybe I'll try this year. I'll get back up there.
I'd love to have you guys up.
Yeah.
I have already probably booked all of my vape. I've been with my company. It's going to be going on. It'll be 29 years this year.
Wow.
So I have a lot of vacation time. And
yeah, I'd say
I actually have it almost all booked, and more on that later when we'll talk later. We've got a topic later on the show we'll talk about. And you'll understand why I've got a lot of it booked already.
Well, I mean, yeah, he just pisses me off every time. Oh, by the way, this year I'm going here, and here, and I go, yeah, I'm going here and here is what I tell him. So,
well, one of my favorite things to do is to text him or FaceTime him while I'm at some place that he wants to be, drinking something that he wants to drink.
There you go, Dave. You got to rub it in.
You got it.
He's the king of rubbing it in.
What are friends for? It's better than
exactly.
it's better than being the king of rubbing it. No, never mind.
It's the family show, Dave. Leave it alone.
No, it's not a family.
No, leave it alone.
I always leave it alone during the show.
All right, there you go. Anyway, all right. So what are some of the highlights for your thus far? In your stint at, since you've been at Schilling, beers, events, anything they've done, expansion, whatever. I mean, just a general, look back at 5 years so far, in review.
Yeah, I got you, John. I think for me, when I came into Schilling, we had a couple of our head brewer and production manager joined at a similar time.
Okay.
So we kind of formed this new school team at Schilling, which we've all been here for the time that I've been up here. So it's been, I feel really grateful and blessed to be surrounded by an amazing team. The beers that these guys make are just phenomenal, and it gives me an immense amount of pride to represent Schilling in the market. Like you guys met me at the Drownlands Fest, right? It's stuff like that is I feel really lucky to do. And lucky to have the role that I have at Schilling, because I get to go out to that stuff, connect with all the people, and I get to share the beers that I love, that our team loves, with guys like you who really appreciate it and kind of nerd out over it. And that's really something I enjoy. So I think for me, it's been pretty incredible to see the growth we've had at Schilling and the growth of lager, craft lager in general, throughout the industry. But man, I feed off the passion of our team and working with these guys, and it feels like a real sense of family up here. We all we all play different pieces. And I'm sure if you ask some of the brewers, they wouldn't even fully know what I do all the time, which is good. I like to keep it that way. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the beer and even our on-site experience. You know, like you mentioned, Dave or Johnny, like getting a beer from the guy in the tap room. We take our beer education really serious at the brewery, and you know, all our employees on the bar get certified Cicerone. They study our beers. And we make a, you know, pretty wide range of lagers. So there's a lot of small nuances between some of our Pilsners and some of our, you know, Czech styles. So we take, you know, a lot of effort in our team to know that stuff and be able to explain it in depth to the customer.
That's fantastic. It really is. Like I said, he was so spot on when he told me, let's put it this way. We had been having a conversation for probably 20, 25 minutes, half an hour at that point about all the beers and beer in general, but you know, probably 90% of the conversation was Schilling beer. And he was spot on in everything he said. And I'm like, I'm not standing here saying, hey, I'm a brewery owner, you know, or, you know, throwing things at him or whatever, but I was Joe Schmo, right? As far as he knew. Right. And it didn't matter. And he was spot on with everything he was talking about. And then at that point is when he told me that he was only there a couple months. I'm like, what? You know,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
the beer, he could know beer, but to know everything about the company and everything about the beer and everything else. And, you know, I mean, I think he just worked Sundays and maybe another day of the week. So if he's there a couple months, that was like his 8th shift, right? I mean, you know, it was amazing.
I mean,
so
do you
kudos
guys,
to that.
I love to hear that. And we've had other stories like that too. Do you guys kind of know, I know you came up here not too long ago, but do you kind of know the story of Schilling or kind of how it all started and everything like that? Am I jumping the gun?
I don't, but that's what we want to hear. Yeah,
that's, I mean, you from the horse's mouth, you talk about it. So let's go to that point now.
Yeah. So Schilling was founded in 2013. By the Cousins family and their lifelong childhood friend, John Lanzini. So really, Jeff Cousins and John both lived abroad, you know, across the pond. And John actually lived in Austria and Germany for the better part of a decade, teaching chemistry and getting into these styles of beers. So Jeff and John had traveled all around Europe, really loved these, you know, continental European style lagers and ales. And Jeff had come back and he was, you know, living in the whites in the Northeast Kingdom. And John at the time was home brewing and making some phenomenal beer. And Jeff's kind of like, you know, we really have something here. So they opened this little pub in an 18th century grist mill here on the river in Littleton. And John was brewing on a little 5-barrel electric system in the dish room. And Jeff and his brother Stu were hiking grain up and kind of gravity feeding it down so John could brew. And he was making, you know, Belgians and lagers, and people would kind of wander in at that time and say, you know, no IPAs, you know, good luck. You guys won't be here too long. So 12 years later, it's really neat to see where Schilling's at. And then so it was open 2013, and then 2017, 2018, we opened the production facility, which is a 20-barrel custom built system that John had built out, you know, decoction capable, everything for the lagers and the beers that we make. And we're still using that system today.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of the ethos and how the story all kind of came together.
Love it.
This is fascinating. Well, first of all, I want to mention that the hops are starting to come out now. I'm getting a nice floral and fruity character out of the hops, and just backed up by that you know, kind of bready backbone. This is such an enjoyable beer. But you know, you mentioned them coming in and saying no IPAs. Now I know you brew IPA because the first beer I actually the second beer I checked in while I was there was an IPA, and it was out of the bout.
That's the resilience label, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we do have IPAs, and I think that came to be later on because Schilling was coming up in the peak of the haze craze, right? That was the time I was at Trillium. We all know what it was. And for them, you know, Schilling is continental European style beer.
Yeah.
They didn't want to compromise that brand, which I really love and respect. So Resilience is their American Ale project, Ode to American Ale. So it's kind of the umbrella that we can do the hazies, and really any American styles that we want to make. But those beers predominantly stay on site and in New Hampshire, so they're more local batch beers. And I mean, our team they crush the haze beer, and the IPAs are phenomenal. We actually just did a new modern style West Coast IPA. That's like one of my favorites. Yeah, so it's neat to have some of those beers in the arsenal. And I mean, having the on-site experience from all of our loggers to throw some of those in the mix is pretty neat.
Yeah, I can say that IPA I had was absolutely fantastic. But I love, the lineup you have. Like you said, the continental lagers, the pilsners. We have seen, and we've been seeing it over the past couple of years, this pushback against any IPAs and the IPA craze and the hop heads, right, where there's like the lager re-revolution per se, and and having you guys around, not necessarily even being the banner waver. You guys have been doing it before that happened. So he was like, "Hey, we've been doing this. Hi, we're here. Drink our stuff. We do it better than almost anybody in the country." And then did you guys did you see that start to happen? When did it start to happen in New Hampshire? And did that increase the business?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dave, to be honest with you. I mean, like you said, Schilling always stayed authentic. Jeff and John knew the beers that they want to make way back when, and never kind of strayed away from that, which I really love and respect. But I think it's just the industry or kind of the consumerism now is more based around drinkability, which I think you were kind of getting at, which is why the lagers have become more popular. But even IPAs, like you'll see a lot more West Coast Pale or even West Coast Pills or Pale Ales, and just even some of the IPAs getting a little bit lighter and a little more drinkable, which is neat. I think it's just more of an educational consumer thing on not drinking super heavy beer. Or for us, lager is based around, amazing conversation with good friends. When we're sitting by the river and the three of us having a meal, that beer kind of subtly, fades into the background of our conversation and the memories that you have. And you can have, 2, 3, 4, 5 beers and not feel terrible, you know what I mean? Or be okay the next day or whatever it might be. But what were you, I got a little lost in that question there, Dave. Remind me what the initial ask was.
Well, the ask was did you see when this kind of lager re-revolution, when the lagers started coming back and people were seeking them out, did you see like a business bump in that? Did that equate into more profitability for Schilling?
Yeah, I think so.
It's been a steady incline, right? It wasn't like April everybody's drinking IPAs and May everybody's drinking Czech Dark.
It wasn't a switch, no.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I think
there has to be an increase. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think for us, our brand really grew and our exposure grew a bit because people wanted to drink these beers, and that was something that really drew me to Schilling. When I came up, the beer has never really changed. It's always been world-class lager, and just kind of lager becoming more popular and allowing Schilling's brand to kind of get a little bit more in the mainstream and align with some of these other unique breweries. It's kind of brought that lager to light, and people realize what those beers are. Like, I'll still go to a number of festivals and have, maybe I have a Czech dark lager and a German Pils, and people will be like, hey, let me get the lager. And then it's kind of up to me to be like, hey, which lager would you like? Let me explain and kind of just educate, because there's so many different beers under that lager umbrella. So I think for people, they're just kind of getting acquainted with different styles and realizing that there's so many different tastes and variations and varieties under the lager game. So it's kind of neat to see craft drinkers gravitate towards that a little bit.
100%.
Well, you get the craft drinkers that are more around mine and John's experience level. We'll say that rather than age. Does that work?
That's good. Yeah.
where we've seen all.
I'm 24. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, 24. You've got underwear that's older than that.
Oh boy.
But don't ask how I know that.
I have 3 kids that are older than that.
There you go.
But seeing, starting off with lagers, imports. Imports, craft beer to us when we were getting into it was some beers. It was Sam Adams, and it was imports. That was craft beer to us.
Yeah, we were getting into it. We had what did we have? We had Sam Adams. We had some brands, Harpoon, if we could get it.
Yep.
There
that was our first IPA.
Right. Sierra and Anchor were around, but good luck getting that in New Jersey.
Voodoo Blackened was around. Pete's Wicked was around.
Pete's Wicked. But yeah, other than that, we were drinking European styles. We were drinking. I couldn't tell you how many Sam Smiths I had back in the day.
Oh God.
And on from there. But yeah, so many German styles and Belgians, and and then it just once I guess it was probably 93, 94. It really kind of started to before that first bubble burst, it kind of started taking off. More and more craft breweries in the States, and then 10 years after that, forget about it. All bets were off. It's like every other day. Oh, this brewery opened up. Oh, this brewery opened up. Oh, this brewery opened up.
Oh, and guess what? There's a new style. Oh, now there's this new style. Oh, we have this new IPA. This type
exactly.
And we've seen it all come and go. So I think for the point I was getting at is when you get people like John and I who've seen all this come and go, it was really refreshing to get back to these styles. To see.
No pun intended with the use of the word refreshing.
No, refreshing in many, many ways. That's almost a triple entendre there.
Exactly.
It was just, and that's, there's so many breweries now that are doing this, getting more. I'm losing words here, but getting back to the roots, right?
Getting back to
it's cool to see the U.S. culture of beer kind of adjusting to that, because there's a reason they've been drinking these style of beers in Europe for hundreds of years, right? It's it's no secret. So to see the consumers get excited about a lager or a nice sessionable beer is really exciting for me, and I think a lot of people.
Yeah, there's so many great breweries up in New England that are doing it. And I love it. Like the next style we're going to drink here, there's one brewery that makes only 2 styles of beer. Sacred Profane out of that's Biddington, not Biddington. Biddeford. And then you get like one, and I keep telling John every time he gets to Boston, please take the trip, go north and west, and get to Silvaticus. I don't know if have you been to Silvaticus, Zach?
Yeah. Yep. Good spot.
Oh, and they're doing great. They're putting out great liquid, and
he's been on the show too.
They've been on the show.
Oh, nice.
They pay so close attention to the pour. And that is, I appreciate that they really put so much effort into the way the beer is poured.
Oh yeah,
as well as
very important. Very important. I'll tell you what, too. The opposite of going to Massachusetts, one of my favorite breweries down in Salem, Connecticut, a little brewery called Fox Farm.
Fox Farm is fantastic.
Amazing.
Beautiful lagers, and really good friends of ours. Zach and Dave are great guys, and if you can ever make it down there, I highly recommend.
I was there during COVID, so I was not able to go in. You pulled up. You showed your phone in without rolling the window down. Popped your trunk. They put beer in your trunk. They closed it, and you drove away.
Yeah.
So I was there a couple times during COVID. I have yet to be able to drink in the tap.
Yeah, I gotta get up there. You're right. I gotta get up there.
Well, I've got to get back. I love Rhode Island. I got to get back to Rhode Island.
I got to pop up there. That's I mean, it's a trip, but like I can leave on a Friday, come home on a Sunday. I can do a Rhode Island.
There you go. I mean, there's a lot of great little beer loops up in New England. I'm sure, like you were speaking on before, Dave, like we have a ton of people that come up from, Burlington and Foam and come over to Alchemist and Stowe and Von Trapp and up to Hill Farmstead and through Schilling and do this whole kind of loop or down to Treehouse, Trillium, wherever it may be. So it's pretty neat to be surrounded by some really good beer here in New England.
100%. Like that was the day we were leaving. The day we were at the brewery for like 4 hours. The plan was to be there an hour and a half or so, and then go back and hit Von Trapp, and then go back into Burlington for dinner. But we went to.
I'm glad we kept you here, Johnny.
So we did. Let's put it this way: we stopped at Bar Hill Gin in Montpelier on the way back. So
nice.
We did that, but we skipped Von Trapp and we held that till Tuesday. We were leaving to go home, but by the time we actually got going and got to Von Trapp, and then once we got out of there and got back to town for a couple of the things, we didn't get home until 2:00 in the morning to Jersey. So, but no, I'm glad we spent the 4 hours there, and I got to get back up there. But I was just gonna say, you should do a Schilling, Bellflower, Fox Farm collab and call it Zac.
There you go.
How do we spell it though? They both spell it with a K. I'm just a
Just
C,
put-
so I'll
just put
argue
it-
that one.
No,
But well,
ZAC in parentheses K.
that's
you go.
exactly right. Right. That's
You got my
exactly
marketing job anytime, Dave. No problem.
Or you can do is Z-A-C and sometimes K.
You got no. I love both those guys, and they're both brewers, so they got the leg up on me when it comes to beer. But yeah,
Right.
both phenomenal.
They could develop the recipe, and you could come up with the label. That's all.
No, there's
We've done a
one-
few beers with Fox Farm. I've actually got the most recent one here on my desk. I'll show you. This is called I forget. I think it's Boita is the correct
Boita.
pronunciation. Yep, it's a land beer that we did
A
with
lot.
Fox Farm.
Nice.
I've got all these collabs on my
Yes,
desk. I kind of just
You're right.
collect over time.
You're right. And the fourth beer, the fourth beer I'm having tonight, the fifth one if he gets to it. But
Well, I'm on my third.
yeah, I'm
You
about
guys
to go
are
to my
killing
third.
me over here.
But
I tend to drink quickly.
the Einbach is a collab with North Park, right?
It is. You got a can of Einbach?
We
That's
both
pretty
do, as a matter
awesome.
of fact.
That's pretty cool.
And the one the last one that I'm going to drink is a collab with Eggenberg.
Ah, beautiful.
I can't
Munich,
wait for that one.
Munich Dunkel, I believe.
That would be the Dunkel, yes.
Export Dunkel. Export. Yeah, that's a great beer. I really enjoyed that one. And Einbach was one of the last lagers, I believe, that we did in oak and the Fooder. So it's a
Right.
Fooder Lager Doppelbock. Yeah, that beer.
Buder
is-
Lagerbach, yeah.
And some of that oak did really nice things to that beer. I'm wondering how it's tasting now. You got to let me know.
I will let you know in
We
about,
will
I'm about to pour my my third, which he's having. So in about 10, 15 minutes, I'll let you know.
I've poured my third, and this is the
There
appropriate
you go.
glassware for the third because this is the dimpled mug, and there's a German name for this glassware. I can't remember what it is. But
You
this
mean,
is-
you mean this?
that's the one.
Check
and
name.
it's-
Check name, Dave. It's actually that mug you have.
Don't bring up Prague. I get we're not going to get into my Prague trip. I want.
Okay.
You can tell him off camera after we're done.
Yeah, we'll just say I spent my whole time in Prague in the hospital, but
Oh man.
that was not a good time. But at any rate, this is a modernism Czech style
Mhm.
dark lager,
Mhm.
Tmave Pivo. 4.8% alcohol. John. You don't need to put the crawl up now. I've already done the job at the crawl.
There you go. Well, if they didn't listen to you, there you go.
No one listens to me anyway. We know this.
No, that's a classic beer right there, Dave. That's one of John's OG recipes, modernism, and that's just a staple in our portfolio for years now.
Yeah.
Yep, beauty.
What I love is just the coffee notes in this are just spot on perfect.
And speaking of the other breweries, there it's my Von Trapp Triple Mug. There you go.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
speaking of the other breweries, there was one that you mentioned. Because what we did is we left Jersey really early in the morning. Came up into Montpelier. We had our lunch at the Three Penny tap room. Three Penny.
Mm-hmm. 3 penny. Yep.
Three
Great
Penny.
spot.
Then we did the pilgrimage that most people should do to Hill Farmstead.
Mhm.
And then we jumped over to you guys. And the beauty of doing Hill Farmstead and Schilling on the same day is you're going to have entirely different styles of beers. You're going to have fantastic beers at both places, but there's hardly any overlap. And so you're just going to really expand your beer horizon if you do those two breweries in one day. And they're really okay. If you can survive the mud and the potholes into and out of Hill Farmstead, you're really not that far away from them.
No, we're about 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful drive too.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. It's a great
Yeah.
spot.
I mean, anywhere you're driving in northern Vermont or New Hampshire, it's a beautiful drive. It doesn't matter where you're going or where you're coming from.
This is true.
It's a beautiful drive.
I agree. I'm biased, but I agree.
But no, I was going to say the last time I was at Hill Farmstead was so you're talking about the mud and the potholes. It was even worse because it was a February, It was a February. It was a February, and it was 60 something degrees out. So, I mean, you're talking about like caked on mud, like going up those
mud season.
It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and you better have your map preloaded, because once you don't have service up there, you can get lost pretty easy.
Absolutely.
I did that my first time for sure.
So, which we're going up there, and it was a madhouse. There was people waiting out the door, and they were giving out the tickets, to call you up for your beers and whatever you're ordering or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I wound up finding a place, like as I was going down, I doubled back and somebody was leaving. I was lucky, right? I pulled into a spot, and I'm walking up, and I wound up just talking because Jess had gotten in line already. And I wound up talking to the guy that was parking everybody. And I guess we bonded over some idiot that was driving down cutting somebody off or whatever. And he says, "Hey, here you go." And he hands me 2 tickets. He says, "These are well over an hour, so you don't have to wait that long. Go." Just go.
Nice.
Like, you got it.
Well, we'll promise one thing. Littleton is paved.
Yes, it is.
It's all paved roads, so you're good there. You don't have to worry about that, and they know how to plow them because New Hampshire,
Yep.
The further north you get, the better they know how to deal with snow.
That is a fact.
And it's a cute town. So when you go there, plan to spend some time. There's a lot of things to do there, and also you guys have the brew pub, just a scooch down the road from you, right?
Right off Main Street. Yep.
Yep. Great pizza.
Yeah, that's our. So that was kind of the story I was telling you. That was where the OG brewery was.
That's where it was there. It wasn't up where the big wheel is.
Yeah, correct. So now it's our pub. So it's a full service restaurant style setup. We've got 16 beers on tap that we keep there. And then we have a second floor of that building too, that is sometimes open to the public and also used for private events. So anything from rehearsal dinners or business events or beer dinners and tastings that we do, we'll do up there. So we actually have, and I don't know if we had this when you were here, Dave, but we have 3 buildings that kind of make up our campus here in Littleton. So you've got the red building, which is our pub, right?
Yep.
That's an 18th century grist mill.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a tan building next to that, adjacent to the pub, which is our Mill Street kitchen. So that's European centric foods, everything from like our smash burgers to schnitzel, doner kebabs. We have a range of different foods.
Doner kebab, nice.
Yeah.
I don't think that was open when we were there.
Probably not. This is more recent in the past couple of years. And
the pub was.
No, the pub's always been there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the kitchen is fairly
Yeah, that
new.
that wasn't there when we were there.
But a completely different vibe, different experience. We also do some local cocktails that are phenomenal. And we have a really beautiful deck that overlooks the river on that side too. So when next time you guys come up, you got to check that out.
Explain local cocktails.
So we partner with Tamworth Distillery out in New Hampshire. So we're actually using New Hampshire spirit and any local ingredients that we can get for those cocktails. So we try and keep go ahead.
I'm asking for a friend. Are some of them maple based?
Sure are.
Okay, because I'm asking to the friend that is on the screen just to my left.
You a big maple guy, Johnny?
A little bit.
That's awesome. So the last building we have is our store and tasting room and our production facility. So that's the huge black building where you were hanging out, Dave, by the fireplace.
Yep. That's the one that actually
built.
That caught fire, didn't it?
No, I'll get to that story. We gotta get to that one. That was finished in about 2018. Originally, it was like a decapitated building, kind of falling in the river, and they rebuilt it from the ground up. And that's a beautiful facility. It's more like Scandinavian farmhouse style with the high ceilings, completely different vibe in there too.
Yeah.
But the tasting room really showcases our beers and kind of our beer education, anything to go. That's really where people can go and kind of nerd out over the beer a bit more, as opposed to the restaurant vibe. But
yeah, that's what we did.
For the fire, I'll touch on that. That was actually in our pub. And what it was a small ember from our pizza oven had floated up and landed on the roof.
Oh wow!
And it was a midsummer day, and it caught fire, and it was honestly pretty small. So we were lucky. It didn't have much damage at all, but yeah, kind of a crazy scenario where that the pizza oven. We'll blame the pizza on that one, but yeah, we had a little fire.
Well, It's amazing though. Like, by the time, like, and you find out after the fact that it was, small and contained and everything else. But by the time the news got down to Jersey, Schilling burnt down.
Yeah, I bet.
So-
You have no idea how in panic everyone was down here. It's like, no, not Schilling. Of all places, Schilling.
We're good.
We were seriously panicked down here when we heard about it.
And then, a couple days later, the real story, makes its way down here. We're like, oh, all right.
Okay, yeah. So we breathe.
It's like a game of telephone. It goes New
That's what it
Hampshire
is.
to Connecticut to New York. By the time it's in Jersey, the
Forget about
whole
it.
campus
Oh God!
down. I got you.
And you know this. And you know those people in Connecticut.
Oh yeah. I do. Unfortunately, no, I'm just kidding.
We had one of them on the show last week.
Our last
Oh, did you? Oh, nice.
Well, the master chocolatier, he's in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Yeah.
He's from Belgium, went to chocolate school, if you will, culinary school in Belgium, but he's in his stores and everything else, and his business is in Fairfield, Connecticut. So,
I mean, I'll tell you this: they do have good pizza down in New Haven. I'll give them that. I'm a frequent of Sally's. Anytime I'm driving to New York, that's my stop. So I'll give
not
it
Frank,
right there.
not Frank's.
I do Frank's too. I do both.
Apparently,
I'll go the
those-
clam pie from Frank's.
The
That's
clam
classic.
pie. There you go.
Mhm.
Apparently, that's
Yeah.
where American style pizza was born. Was New Haven.
Right.
Really?
As much as New Jersey and New York constantly battle for the pizza capital of the country, it actually started in Connecticut.
It's
Wow.
the water. It's the water that's used in New York, and it's not when you say New York and New Jersey, right? We're not talking about like Utica, New York having the best pizza. No, it's
New York City.
New York City and New Jersey, and not even far South Jersey. Although there's a lot of good pizza.
Oh, they will argue with you with blades.
Oh no, they will. They will. But the pizza.
Remember,
that
they're Eagles fans. down
right?
there.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, Super Bowl champs.
Tear the city
I know.
down.
You wouldn't believe how many texts I was getting from Dom the other day, Dave. Dom from Fiddlehead. Because he's a huge Eagles fan. So.
Oh, if you guys know Ken from Human Robot, you should see some of the videos he sent. He sent me in the team here. Absolute nut hut, that guy.
Well, it's Philly. He's from Philly.
Yeah, he is the definition of Philly. Ken Carell, great guy, and Robot's good buddies of ours. We just actually did a beer down there.
Nice.
Love those guys.
Well, Robot's another. They're another in the vanguard of that. Bringing those lagers, bring those traditional lagers.
You guys did something. Speaking of collabs, and South Jersey, Philly, you guys did not too long ago a collab with Amanda. That's the Seed. Right?
Yeah. Love Amanda. Shout out Amanda and Chris and Brandon. Their team is some of my favorite people, man. Amanda's a phenomenal brewer. She's love great. Their space, and her beers are just great. And their whole those three over there for their team is just I have nothing but amazing things to say, and I love those guys.
To me, the analog for them when it comes to the science world is this guy. They're just absolute scientists. They're really seriously scientists there.
I mean, if you've had their saison as well, I think that's where they really shine too. Those beers are just mind blowing. Yeah, really cool to see that in Jersey. And that was my first time I'd been to AC, so that was an interesting experience as well.
I'm sure it was. By the way, you passed right by me on your way. I'm like 35 minutes from AC, 40 minutes.
Next time, Johnny, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let us know.
You guys aren't getting involved at AC Beer Fest, are you?
What was that?
AC Beer Fest next month, the Atlantic City Beer.
No, we our schedule's pretty packed, but we're not heading out that way. I don't know if we go to Jersey at all. We'll probably do some events out in Jersey, but I don't know if we've done any festivals out that way, to be honest.
Gotcha. Well, I see. It's funny because the AC Beer Music, Atlantic City Beer Music Festival is actually technically right now the second biggest beer fest in the country, behind GIBF.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
And it used to be the third years ago. Oh geez, I don't know if you remember. I think the last year they did it was 2013 or 2014, but the American Craft Beer Festival in Boston. It was Harpoon, Sam Adams, I think it was Harpoon, Sam Adams, and Dogfish Head. We're all
Yep.
And wasn't Beer Advocate involved?
and Beer Advocate.
Yeah.
Well, Beer Advocate
Yeah.
ran it, but the sponsors were But and
this
then
beer is
that
going
turned
down way too quick.
I know.
It's so easy to drink.
And then what you call it, that turned into the micro brew invitational. But the American Craft Beer Festival, that was the second biggest. And then AC Beer Fest was the third, but that they no longer do that. They haven't done it since 10 years now.
You guys go down for that one, the AC Fest?
We do.
Nice.
We do, yeah.
I've only been once because Johnny's a lot closer, and he's friends with the organizer. I've been down once, and I think the main reason I went down is that the Dropkick Murphys were playing.
They were
classic.
They were indeed.
Boston, baby.
Yes, and the day he was there, it's migrated, right? It started in 2006 and in the convention center, and it's now back in the convention center. But from COVID, there was none. But 2021, 22, and 23, they were on 3 years in a row. They were on Bader Field and Old Airport in Atlantic City. Probably like like Amanda's on the north side of Atlantic City. It's basically the south side. It's closer to Ventnor. Anyway, so it's outdoors. But this was in June. And it was so windy, and people were frozen. It was so cold.
Really?
The first day, the day of the Dropkick Murphys, and it was so cold that any brewery that brought hoodies, which who the hell's bringing hoodies to
sold out
to a June beer fest outdoors, right? But some did. They were gone. People were paying $100 for hoodies because they were cold, right? But
the one thing I'll say, Schilling is well represented in Jersey in the liquor stores, right? The two liquor stores that I frequent, Jersey City By Right, and there's times where there's like 8 different beers that you guys have in there.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And the other one's in Booton, and Booton.
Well, yeah.
If it's out and it's available, they're carrying it.
They have it. They have
That's
everything.
Awesome. Yeah, we send beer to New York City through our buddy Serene, and they actually cover New Jersey for us. And if we ever send beer down to PA as well,
sure.
So Jersey has caught on quite a bit with some of the overflow from New York and like those really high end craft beer spots. So that's pretty awesome to hear.
Yeah. Now, are you sending all packaged off prem, or are you doing any draft to Jersey at all?
We do draft. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I did an event in Jersey. I'm trying to think of the name of the spot. Taproom 18. I'll have to get the actual name, and I'm
15,
embarrassed.
Tap House 15.
15.
Tap House 15.
Yes.
Yeah, we know them.
Tap House 15.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be that bar, there's a couple
That's
bars.
the spot.
There's a couple bars in Jersey that we would have probably guessed. It probably would have been the top 5 of our guesses.
So when I drove through and came down to Seed, we did a takeover there. And
nice.
that's kind of my only spot in Jersey that I've been personally.
Gotcha.
Not a bad spot to have been the only place you've been to.
No, not at all.
Because the food there's really good.
Food at Tap
The
House
food was
15.
good. The food, and we our guy at Serene, Kevin King, he takes great care of us, and I just kind of go where he tells me when it comes to that stuff. So he leads me.
I know Kevin a while, so yeah,
he steers me down the right path for sure. Yeah, Kevin's great. Yeah.
So, all right. So, what's beer wise? What's anything new? Let me before I ask you that. You mentioned before there's beers you always fall back to. The Norditor you're always doing, obviously the Alexander and Modernism. There's a lot of staples, right? For that matter. As far as rotating beers, like how does your portfolio look? As far as cores versus rotating versus one-offs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question, Johnny. So we have, kind of our core Czech and German side is going to be our Alexander and Jacobus, right? Those beers are brewed all year round. They see the wider side of our distro. And then we have seasonal beers as well that see a little bit more distro. So, we do quarterly seasonal beers. Q1, it's typically Modernism and the Volksgarden you had, Dave, and that, or both you guys had. And then Q2, we'll see a Special, which is our Mexican style golden lager that does really well in some of the warmer months, along with Schlaumeyer, which is our Bavarian style Hefeweizen, which is one of our classic beers, recipes made by John. And that's been a staple on our campus for years. And it actually was only available on site for a long time. So we just recently started canning that beer, which we're very excited about. What do you got there, Dave?
I poured this.
You poured the
nice,
Anibach.
man.
Yeah, all right.
And then once you get into the late summer, fall months, you see Constantine, our Austrian style Märzen.
I love Constantine.
Yeah, that's another classic, and Gesuffa, which is our fest beer.
I should probably drink that really soon because there's still one in my fridge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you should drink that.
I should probably drink it really soon. He's talking
It's a
about
lager. It's fine.
So we kind of do
Drink it. You know what, Dave? Use it as a Maibach. Drink it as a Maibach. There you go.
There we go. It's
It's a fest beer. It's not a Märzen. It's a fest beer. I take that.
Yeah,
back.
that's the fest beer. Constantine's our Märzen. And then when we get into kind of the end of the year, you see Karlu 13, which is our Czech black lager, and then we have Augustin 13 as well, which is our Polo Tomave, our Czech amber, which is one of my favorite beers. You know, my father never liked beer until I worked at Schilling and gave him Augustin, and now it's all he drinks. So it's cool to see that, man. But yeah, those are, those 8 beers are kind of our seasonal drops, and then our portfolio, Johnny, we make a ton of different beers throughout the entire year, depending on what we have available for tank space. But our brewers just do an amazing job of researching historic styles and different traditional beers. And, our team takes multiple annual trips over to Europe to kind of get inspiration, whether it's from Germany, Bavaria, Czech Republic, Belgium, wherever it might be. They always come back with some type of story and inspiration. And I really love to kind of dive into some of those styles too. So it's neat to see. And our brewers, man, are just phenomenal. Like I said, I feel lucky to have my job because I get to try these beers and dive into them and share them with you guys and talk about them, so it makes my job really enjoyable to represent these beers and the styles we make. So we do everything from dry hop pills to, we did a Kopbusser once with the guys at Halfway Crooks. We did a Tomave Pivo with Cohesion. And like Cohesion. You said, we did the one with Eric's a great guy. And then the one we did with Eggenberg, the Export Dunkel, the collaboration specifically are kind of inspired through dual passions, which they always should be with our brewery and the guest. But yeah, our team is always thinking up new beers and different styles and different iterations of styles that we've already made too, which is really cool to see. We've got
you've got a session check.
We do. Yeah, we do. That's our 8 Plato. That's our Molly 8.
Yeah, I may have drank that during the Super Bowl.
You may have.
I personally I love that beer.
Oh, that is. If you give me a case of those, I'll drink those in a sitting.
Yeah, I mean the way it's brewed too, and
he's not lying. He will.
I will
yeah, I mean I'll be right there with you, Dave. I'll be right next to you doing the same. So yeah, I love that beer. That's usually a summertime beer. You'll see some of those pop up, depending on the season. But yeah, we have kind of a range of different beers that float through our portfolio. And then something I want to highlight that not many people know is our wild program too. So we have a wood room downstairs right on the banks of the Ammonoosuc, where we do all of our
Is that how you say that?
Ammonoosuc, yeah. I told you. You didn't believe me when I told you that. The only reason I knew it is because he said it in the tap room when I was there.
I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth, John. You know that.
Ammonoosuc River, yeah. That's where we're at.
It's not Ammonoosuc. It's Ammonoosuc, right?
Ammonoosuc.
Yeah, you got it. So all of our spawn beers, we have a cool ship down there.
Cool.
All of our spawn beer comes from there.
Cool ship down there. That's awesome.
I didn't realize you have a cool ship.
A lot of people don't. Yeah, a lot of our wild stuff, and that stays on site mostly. We have specialty bottles for people to purchase on site. Sometimes they'll be released for special events and such, but they really stay home here in Littleton. So if you come to the brewery and we have a bottle offering available, I highly recommend diving into it.
Get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
those beers are killer.
Last time I was there, you had a bottle offering. And I got a few of them. I gave one to John, and we had it on one of the first annual, one of our special shows, one of our first annual special shows.
I kept
You still have the bottle. You still have the bottle.
I kept the bottle.
Is the
What is it?
The
Oh, I get it. I get it.
The Grodisky.
Ah, very nice.
There it is.
Yep,
Pivo
that's awesome.
Grodisky. So we had it on the show. Are you familiar with the Facebook page this year in Rauch Beer? This week in Rauch Beer.
This week in Rauch.
No, I'm not a Facebook guy, but I'd love to hear about it.
So you know John? Do you know John Hall, the beer columnist?
Oh, I know John. He actually texted me today.
Oh, did he? So
Yeah,
we
he
do
goes.
this.
He's like, I heard you're going to be on the show with the locker room guys. He goes, just a couple recommendations. I was like,
Don't
"All right,
do
John,
it.
thanks."
First, don't do
Yeah.
it. But,
No, John's a great guy. He came up for Oktoberfest and did a couple panels with the brewers up here last year, which was really cool.
Oh, that is awesome. He is fantastic. And every year we do a Rauch Beer show with John in February. And
It's 2 weeks from tonight. I'll be on.
2 weeks from
Nice.
tonight. And the first time that we did it, that was kind of the feature beer of the show with the Schilling Beer.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was a special project by Ryan Murphy, he's our lead brewer, and big fan of smoked beers, and he does an exceptional job brewing those beers. So that was a cool to see that in the bottle.
And more on that in a
good
second.
beer.
I just want to point out. Okay, you had said I just threw the crawl up there. Einbach. I just opened my Einbach. All right. And I used proper glassware this time. So
this is one of those beers. So we talk about this on the show a lot, where you get one of those beers where you get your nose into it.
Hold on. Hold that thought 1 second. There's Einbach in the same glass in your tap room. There you go.
That's pretty cool. Full circle there, John.
There you go.
But we talk about it on the show a lot, where you pour a beer, you'll get your nose into it, and you don't want to drink it because it just smells so good. It just hits those olfactory organs so beautifully.
There is nothing different about this beer than when I first had it. That's how
but then you become afraid. Is it not going to taste like I'm smelling it? This is not one of those beers. This beer just delivers on the promise that it gives in the bouquet. It's amazing.
I have to wait a little bit. I just realized I said wait a little bit because I just took the last big sip of modernism, so I still got a little roast in my palate. But
yeah, but this, oh my God, there's like this beautiful fruit esters that come out of it, but the wood.
Oh yeah.
That wood
I am a huge foeder fan. Anything you put in a foeder, I don't care what it is. If somebody puts something in a foeder and then has it on tap at their brewery or cans it or whatever, I'm buying it. It's just done.
I love it. You guys got a good little lineup going there.
I see the FOE. I'm like done. Right here.
And I like how you've gone from pale to progressively darker and heavier. You guys know what you're doing.
We try to do our
this a
due
couple
diligence,
times.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did hosted a beer dinner at one point
Nice.
with I don't know if you've heard of Carton Brewing. We did with Carton Brewing.
Oh, was Augie there?
It was already there.
No, I know Carton. Augie's a good guy. I actually did a podcast with him and John. Steal this beer.
Oh, you did steal this beer?
When we were down at Log Jamming for Human Robot. So Augie's he's a character, man. He's a good dude.
We've known Augie.
A character is.
Put that in quotation marks.
Yeah.
He's a character.
Yeah.
He's personal friends of ours. We've both known him for a very long time.
He opened really. So.
Yeah, since he opened. You've actually a lot of people don't believe it when I say it. My first tour of Carton Brewing was given by Augie because he never actually ever did that.
That's pretty cool.
Here's Augie with me about 17 beers in at Barrique down in Nashville.
That's his natural look at the end of a night, you know.
Well, that's a natural look, but he's leaning on my cap
accurate.
to hold himself up. That's
Yeah. Usually he's on one shoulder and we're dragging him home. That sounds or we're hitting Waffle House and he's getting something outrageous.
I know.
I used to my job anytime that he had an event that they knew I was going to be at, the crew at Carton said your job is to get him to eat. I was the only person that could get him to actually eat because the thing is, he's one of those guys that if you told him he had to do something, fuck you, I ain't doing it. The key was to
Well,
make
you had to say, you can. I do whatever you say. I don't care what you say. We're not eating right now. We are not eating right now.
No, the key was to launch his FOMO. So you order food for you, and he's going to eat your food. That's how I always got him to eat.
But he does the same thing with beer too, though.
He does. Yeah, he'll steal your beer.
In fact, the first beer I had that night at Barrique, that picture was taken. The first beer I had 2 sips of it. Augie had the rest of it. I'm gonna get another one.
That's classic.
That's awesome.
Which means you've also met, if you did steal this beer, then you've met Brian Cass.
I have met Brian. Yeah, I like Brian. He's a good dude as well.
Yeah.
Well,
If
I zoom out, Cass is in the picture with us. There.
Oh, there he is. There's man-child.
Nice.
I did a road trip from New Jersey down to Tampa with Brian Cass to do Hunapoo.
Oh, wow. Back in the day.
Oh,
well,
man.
it feels like back in the day now. But
It does feel, but we had so much fun.
Oh, Hunapoo, you can say is back in the day. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good event, though.
Oh, definitely a good event.
But damn, there's
fantastic.
almost the fruit from the esters and the wood almost give this beer a vinous note.
Yep.
Which I'm really, really enjoying. This is when you talk about craft beer, this is a crafted beer. It's a very well crafted beer. That's fantastic.
It was fantastic. It's such a good beer.
And John, John brought this back for me from his trip up there. But
It's a good friend right there.
Sometimes.
Where do I go that I don't bring you beer back?
This is true.
All right.
This is true.
I love that beer. Some of the darker beers specifically and bigger beers like Einebach take really well to the foeder and do really well in the oak. Some of my favorite beers came out of that thing.
Absolutely. Like I'll have you ever? I don't know if you haven't. And I only say this because it's a specific beer that always sticks in my mind when I talk about food or lagered beers. And that's you got to Pittsburgh at all? Have you been out to Pittsburgh? Have you had any?
You know what? I've never been to Pittsburgh. Nope.
All right. Trace is a brewery out in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
There's a lot of great breweries out in Pittsburgh. We've had a few on the show, but we haven't actually had Trace on the show. But Trace at one point they did a food or lagered Schwartz beer.
Nice.
And it was stupid good.
See, my problem was when I went to Trace, it was 4th of July weekend, and they only had like 6 beers on tap. They
had nothing.
They were drained.
Yeah.
I need to get back.
Yeah. So there's that's the thing. And David, I preach this all the time. There is so much good beer. You got to go. You just got to go. Just get in the car, drive. Get on a plane, fly, and then rent a car and drive or whatever. Just go experience it. I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I don't mean this, and I mean with all due respect for everybody local, right? If you are such a big craft beer, I want to use the word geek, aficionado, right? And all you do is just keep going to the same, 20, 30 breweries in different incarnations around your area, in your state, or whatever. That's fine. That's fine. Go experience some other stuff once in a while, at least. Go, just take a ride, take a drive, go a little further out of your comfort zone, if you will, and you're gonna find that you're gonna expand your comfort zone. That's gonna get wider and wider and wider. You're gonna want to go to these places. You're always gonna go back to your local places. They're always gonna be there,
Well, Zach and I have a conversation that he loves to travel. He's, and I don't know if you probably travel the way I do.
I'm gearing up for the top threes by bringing this up.
I know. I'm building on that. We're segueing. Stop outing the segue, John.
I got
it. But you probably travel. I guarantee you probably travel the way I do. When you're going someplace, you probably look up where are the breweries. Where can I drink?
Yeah, I mean that's something that I really love to do. You're absolutely right, Dave. And I feel lucky how much I get to travel with my job, and even going to the events and connecting with other breweries. I love exploring new spots, no matter where I'm at, even close to home. It's just part of the industry and supporting those, other guys. And it's like you said, Johnny, it's like if you're gonna go somewhere, check out the local spots, whether it's beer or food. I kind of love to indulge in both of those sections and see what the area is all about.
Beer, food, spirits,
Yeah.
wineries, even.
And music.
And music, yes. Oh, 100%.
That's
Check
kind
out
of
the
culture in a nutshell.
Oh, 100%.
Well, when I travel, when the places I go, yes, there's these touristy spots. Like April, I'm going to Austin and San Antonio. Right, so
Nice.
you got Riverwalk, you got the Alamo. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go. Hey, there's Riverwalk. Hey, look, there's the Alamo. Cha-ching. But when we're in San Antonio, a lot of people like to do brewery crawls. They do all kinds of crawls. We're gonna do a taqueria crawl in San Antonio.
Great call.
Yeah, we got to do that. But
I just went to Austin last year. Went down for a Texas Longhorns game with Eric from Cohesion. We had a blast. And if you're in Austin,
You met him down
hit
there?
up.
Yeah.
I'm
a Longhorns guy, so
I'm a Sooners fan, so that hurts so much.
Ooh, we were friends, Dave. We were friends.
No,
No,
we
but,
were friends. They're just now.
If you go to Austin, hit Live Oak. Great spot.
Dave doesn't
Okay.
want me to go into that closet right there and pull out my Longhorns cap. He doesn't want to see that. So.
There we go, Johnny.
I've got a Sooners jersey in there with my name on the back of it. But anyway,
let's get back to
Because he played running back for the
no, my grandfather was actually on the team. Any rate, that's why I'm a Sooners fan, because he's part
Gotcha.
Cherokee. He's part Cherokee, and that's what his.
Fair enough.
Anyway, but actually, Live Oak. So we're going to land at like 11:30, and we're going to get our rental car. We're staying just east of downtown. Actually, we're staying 3 blocks from Franklin.
Nice.
So
You going? Are you gonna go hit Franklin?
We're going to hit Franklin on my birthday, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
That's my birthday lunch.
Good man.
Franklin. That's to be Frank.
doesn't
But
get much better than that.
So when we land on the 15th of April, we're going to get the rental car, collect our luggage, get the rental car loaded in there, and beeline to Live Oak. That'll be the first brewery, and the last brewery that we're going to hit while we're in Boston, where we will play with dwarf goats.
Yeah.
Jester King.
Yep.
So we're going to
That's awesome.
bookend this trip with Live Oak and Jester King, 2 of the best breweries in all of Texas.
And Franklin Barbecue sounds like a pretty good trip.
Franklin Barbecue in there, and not for nothing, between San Antonio and Austin, there is a Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's, classic.
You got to do the Buc-ee's.
Are you going to bring a case of cookies home this time?
No, probably just two again, but probably more jerky than I did last time.
Yeah, you got to get the jerky, Dave.
And the thing is, so
that
my
place
son.
blew my mind.
Oh, so there's the jerky wall, which all the prepackaged
Right,
jerky.
it's crazy. No, like, have you seen the jerky at the deli though? The fresh.
Exactly. Ignore the
yeah.
wall. Ignore the wall.
Yeah. Yep.
Ignore the wall. Get to the counter. Order. Get
You know
the
what you're
fresh
doing.
jerky. Oh yeah, because the first Buc-ee's we went to, my son goes, "Oh, there's a jerky wall." So we went to the jerky wall. We got jerky. Second Buc-ee's we went into, I saw the counter and I smacked him upside the back of the head. I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Why would you?"
Yeah, I definitely spent way too much money when I went to Buc-ee's.
Oh my
But
God.
it was all worth it. It was worth it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you got to check out our Mardi Gras show. That ties into Buc-ee's a little bit.
Okay.
There's a reason for it.
We got a
Cool.
comment from Brian Boak. He said, "Cheers, out to dinner, snuck on. We'll pop back on when I get home." He said.
Brian. Yeah, Brian. Brian's always commenting on the show. So we actually called for the local police and where he lives to make sure that he was okay.
Okay, did a well check.
Yeah, a wellness check. Yeah, wellness check on Brian.
Nice.
Because he's always commenting on the show like, "What, did he die? Or something not working?"
So on that note, you're talking about you were talking about Live Oak, Dave, that you're going to. Live Oak did a collab with Von Trapp earlier last year. They did a smoked Hellas, which was pretty decent. But on that smoke note, we were talking about the Gretzky that you guys did. What you call it? You did another smoked. I mean, maybe not as smoked as the Gretzky, or maybe it is. was Rugen.
Yeah, Rugen was
Ooh.
wow.
Smoked Baltic Porter.
You bring me back.
What?
Yeah, that was actually that was out of the
That was-
fooder too.
That was a fooder too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a
smoked
second,
Baltic
wait a second.
Porter.
A fooder smoked Baltic.
That beer was phenomenal. It's unfortunately all gone. We might have like a keg left in the cellar, maybe. Our guy John LaPointe kind of stashes some of those beers to bring out when the time is right. But that beer was phenomenal. It's about 9% Baltic Porter. Yeah, nice smoke on it, and with the oak touch, that was a beautiful beer. I love that beer.
So if we come up there, who do we have to pay?
No one. You just got to come at the right time, boys.
Come at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, just as long as you know ahead of time, just give us a heads up. It's not.
Okay.
It's a long ride per se, but it's not really that long of a ride per se.
No,
I will let
within
you know.
reason. It's within reason.
If we ever tap that beer, I will let you know. I promise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what glass to pull for my next.
I was trying to pronounce it correctly because it's the umlauts over the U, so it's Rugen.
Yeah. We also do. We have our smoked Helles that comes out every year too, called Glimmin. And that's a little more lighter on the smoke, but that's just a beautiful smoked Helles.
Sure.
Actually, I love smoked Helles.
You might see that might make its way to Jersey a little bit as well.
Oh, I'll take a look out for that one.
Yeah.
The thing about smoked Helles is smoked Helles can actually be absolutely beautiful and for some people revelatory, where there's like it might be their first step into route beer. But there's times where people have done a smoked Helles and they've not understood the nuances of it and have just made it undrinkable. Since Helles is such a light style, such a light body, such a light flavor, if you don't control how much smoked malt you put into it, you've destroyed the beer and destroyed the whole point.
It can overpower it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so when a smoked Helles is done properly,
ours is on the lighter side when it comes to the smoke, for sure.
Which is beautiful. Now, this one thing we're talking about smoke. The one thing we've been trying to socialize out there, because
We've been working on it. BSU.
The BSUs. So IBUs, international bitterness units, right? For hoppiness. You got the SRMs for color and all that. There's no measurement for smokiness. So was it our first rock beer show or second?
It was our first one. It was
the first one. I advanced the idea of BSUs, Bomberg smoke units.
Nice.
And
I like that.
We have we've put it down to I said 5 levels, right?
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zero. 5 is your there's like a little smoke coming out of your nose.
5 is nearly undrinkable. 1 is there's a smoke sense to this, but there's no smoked malts in it whatsoever. It's not supposed to be smoked beer, but it's got a smokiness. Some beers can throw off a little smokiness without any smoke.
Or if there are smoked malts in it, it's so slight. It's it's like 5% of your malt.
No. That's 2. That's 2.
That's 2.
That's 2. Whereas very, very light smoke flavor to it, which means they didn't use enough. 3 is about perfect. 4 is like, ooh, this is for the advanced people. These are the ones that like that smoke. And 5 is like, ouch, I can't finish this beer to a point. But that's the BSU scale.
I think you're onto something there, Dave.
I think we should work. I mean, hey, you know what? Look, This Week in Route Beer, that whole website and merch and Facebook group and everything else, that was on a dare at a GABF one year. In fact, it was
Augie. It was Augie who dared him.
Augie dared John, and
it.
they were at where were they at? Damn it.
They were doing it this week. They were doing a beer episode, weren't they?
They were in Denver. They were at
and this is
I am it's
right there. This
I got
weekend around beer.
You talking Denver? Ready? Is
Denver,
it beer stat?
Beer shot. They were beer shot.
Yeah.
They were beer
Great
shot.
spot.
And he's like, you should do a Route Beer page. It's like, all right, this week he made the page right there, boom, and it's taken off. So
I love it.
We've actually
Put it on there.
accused John Hall of having sparked more Route beers brewed in this country because of this Facebook page. He will take no credit for that, but we know John well enough to know that in the back of his mind, he's like, yeah, that was me.
Yeah, shout out, John.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome.
So
Kudos to him for that. I'm super happy that that's the case. So
I did no. Okay, so one thing you need to know, Zach, is when we do these shows, it's unless they're like our special like holiday shows or that, we usually only do 3 beers. I've already done 4, and I just pulled my finger.
I'm done at 4.
Hey, they're all lager, so you're good.
Yeah,
This is acceptable.
5%, 4, 8, and
exactly
7, 2. So,
and
by the way, our last show every year is the big beer show. It's the New Year's Eve beer show. There's 4 of us on the show, and we have to have at least 3, if not 4 or 5, and every beer cannot be under 12%.
Wow.
are you going to out me? Are you going to out me on this one?
I'm not going to out you. You can out yourself if you want. I'm not going to out you. But if
you want
to go back,
I couldn't finish the show.
Scroll back and watch the show. Look at click through it. You don't have to watch the whole thing.
I might need to check that episode out.
It was literally a 3-hour show or plus, right? But you're going to want to go to look at the last half hour because that's
the last half hour. I was not on the show, and it's just a damn good thing that
he was on the show.
Right, kind of like this.
He was just no.
I disappeared.
Yeah, you disappeared. You were. If the camera was higher, pointing down, you would have seen him. But he was,
no. I was over there.
No, you came back out.
Did I come back out?
Yeah, you came back out.
I don't remember a damn thing after that.
Oh, I remember what you did. Because
I need to rewatch the show.
Because I texted Kerry and said, Dave needs help. But I did it after the show was done. Because you stayed down there. Because we were taking bets on whether you were going to back up or not.
The good thing is I managed to.
We each had 3 or 4. He had 6.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I managed to mute my mic before I left, which is probably a good thing for everybody. Because
there you go, Dave.
The bathroom's right there.
Yeah.
No, but the fifth one for this show, and we alluded to this, is the collab with Schloss Edinburgh. Schloss meaning castle in German, and that is Pettenbach.
Love it.
And this one I've poured into a Willebecker. Oh, I got it turned around the wrong way. We were talking about Pittsburgh, so I decided to put it into my Coven Willebecker.
Nice.
Because I figured this would be.
That was one of my favorite beers that we did, and actually the map on that label, Dave, because I
was wondering about the labels, guys.
Yeah, no, I do all our beer labels. That specific one that highlights Pettenbach, which is the town that Carl is from. From Carl from Eggenberg. So
see the label
pretty
again?
Neat ode to him.
That is
the other side. Oh, the front of it. I saw that.
Yeah, so this is traditional. Like if you guys ever see this kind of banner style here down the middle, you'll know it's one of our collaborations.
Oh, is this the green you were talking about, John? When I told you it was the
no, but you guys did a collab. I mean, maybe it was their version of it, but you guys did a collab with them, but they released it.
Yeah, so we just actually, Jeff and John, the guys, were just over there brewing a Maibach at Eggenberg. So we should see that. Yeah. We should see that again over this year.
Because I had it last year. Was my point. It was a Maibach.
Yeah, in the bottle. Yep.
In the bottle. Yeah, that was fantastic. Yep. Yeah.
But I got to come up there to get it right.
No, it was an Eggenberg release. It wasn't an
Eggenberg release.
Last year, I got it. Actually, got it last year at Carmine Street.
Oh, really?
I did.
Oh, I love those guys.
Yeah.
The problem with Carmine getting to Carmine Street is you've got to pull.
Shane's no longer at Carmine Street. Shane's in Brooklyn.
Is he? Well, the problem with getting to Carmine Street is you've got to pull yourself away from Blind Tiger to go there. Yeah. That's a hard thing to do.
Love Blind Tiger. Are you talking Shane from Q Beer?
Shane at Q Beer was at Carmine Street for years. Yeah.
He just recently left because he's the one who gave me my first Schlenkerla. Yeah.
I've known Shane for years. Yeah, he left. I mean, it wasn't yesterday, but it wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. But he's over Q Beer now in Brooklyn. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Blind
this-
Tiger too. One of the best.
Yeah, because I went there. I actually jumped in there to get the Schlenker smoked Schwartz beer.
Yep.
Erla.
Nice.
Erla. That one, and that was also for one of our smoked beer shows.
Yep.
So,
Yes, it was. Yeah, you got that. That's well, we're gonna have that with John in 2 weeks.
yeah, but we're gonna have the Rot beer.
The road.
And
Yeah.
and the Schlenkel is another double finger moment for John, because I sent him a picture of me drinking the smoked Maibach off the cask, sitting in the brewery, and Carrie was eating the Bamberg onion, just to get him pissed off.
There's Matt and I at Blind Tiger enjoying our. We did a tap event.
There's nobody there.
Well,
Did your tap event scare everyone away?
It was 11:30 in the morning on a Sunday. That's why nobody was there yet. But there's
awesome.
the Blind Tiger there. Yeah, that was we did a black IPA. So that was the
Very nice
over there, Blind Tiger. So that was
Love it.
so that was a year, and that was over a year ago. It was last year. But it was fun. But yeah, Shane at Carmine Street Beers, at Q Beer now. Yeah, he's a great guy.
It's a good spot too. I really like what he's done with that place.
At Q Beer.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was funny because we were going to go see Eddie Izzard do a show around the corner. It was a one-man show of Great Expectations, as a matter of fact, which was fantastic. But I left Carrie online to get into the show while I went off there, and it's hard to go in there and not get something poured off the taps. Just like, what took so long? Like,
I was looking at different beers. I was trying to.
There was a line.
It was a line. That's it. So there was one register and a long line. It was a big thing.
And then she saw my untapped check and realized that I was full of shit. But that's okay.
Anyway, all right. So we're talking about places to go. We're talking about expanding your local, expanding, going out from your local, comfort zone or whatever, and getting out. And the further you get out, you're obviously eventually going to get to another country. Right?
Before you finish this, John, I just want to say something about Pettenbach.
Please do.
I don't always gravitate towards Dunkels. The reason I don't always gravitate towards Dunkels is when they're not done right, they're cloying, they're overly sweet. Okay. This one is not. This one dries out in the finish as a true Dunkel should. This is fantastic. Oh,
I'd love to hear it.
This might be one of my favorite Dunkels I've ever drank. That is
awesome, dude.
That just drying out at the end just makes this. You get all of that sweetness from the malts that is expected in a Dunkel, but that dry finish makes it much more drinkable.
Fair enough.
Than one of those that remains with all that, like all the sugars, which means you guys figured out a way to really get those malts, get the yeast to do their jobs, right? And
I'll tell you what, we have a talented group back there, guys. And honestly, I just want to shout out our entire production team, everyone from Justin to Murph to our two other Ryans and our packaging guys, Zach, Tyler, and Rob. Like I said, man, I'm lucky to represent the beer that we make. And those guys keep pushing the boundaries year after year. And John, I always come back to John Lanzini. He's our technical director still to this day. Right. So he works with those guys nonstop. It's pretty amazing what they do. And just the attention of detail they put into the ingredients, the process, and to hear you have those comments on that beer, Dave, is kind of spot on with what we want you to have when you enjoy our lager. So that's pretty amazing, man.
Cheers to those guys, man. This is
100%.
Yeah, and it's funny because it reminds me of one of my favorite brewery terms because it sounds dirty. Is that the flocculation here is very perfect. Right, flocculation meaning that the yeast has taken converted as many of those sugars as it can into the alcohol, into all the esters, the phenols, everything that it can do, and done it in such a perfect way.
Love how you describe it.
Oh, it's awesome. And you know what? On that note, Dave, flocculation.
Yeah, oh, we're going to get a lot more flocculation when we get to our top threes.
It doesn't matter because here's the thing, okay? Because here's the thing. We're saying the further you get outside your comfort zone, obviously, eventually you're going to get to another country. So our top 3 list tonight, and I just got to go to our captions here. Our top 3 list tonight is top 3 favorite countries to have a beer in. Top 3 favorite countries to have a beer in. And obviously this can be anywhere, right? Anywhere.
Well, so it's a good one. Well,
But here's the thing. And I was going to say this. Let me say this really quick. You said the flocculations or whatever, but that there are only so many countries in the world. And if we pick the same ones, it is what it is, right? Who cares? Yeah. But it's our own take on it and what our story is for that particular country. So we could have the same 3 countries. It doesn't matter. So we'll have at it. But
this is one of the top 3s that was suggested by the guest.
It was suggested by Zach, absolutely.
And
there was a little twist.
We put a little twist on it because I've only started internationally traveling in the past couple of years. Zach started internationally traveling when you were, 5? No. Backpacking.
Not quite.
No, not quite.
Yeah.
And
7, 8. Yeah.
And John hasn't done a lot of international travel. So that's why
I've traveled internationally, but locally internationally, if you will, not far out internationally.
Yeah. He's talking about Montreal.
Canada and Mexico and some islands in the Caribbean is the extent of my international.
I mean, Montreal's craft beer scene right now is phenomenal. I don't know if you've been up there lately, but they're killing.
Yeah. I have. Pit Caribou is probably one of my favorite spots in Montreal.
Okay.
If you've not been there, they're doing.
I haven't.
Oh, they do fooder.
Okay. I've only been to a few spots up there, but all really good. I've been to a spot.
Duchiel's my favorite. So.
Yeah, I mean
that's a given.
Well, yeah. Montreal's pretty awesome. It's a good spot. My brother actually lives in Canada over in Ottawa, so it's easy for me to kind of anytime I go to see him, it's no brainer for me to hit Montreal. Yeah. Yep.
It's for
you
for
guys.
you.
Are you?
It's on the way.
Are you guys starting or am I starting?
No, you. Start.
You're kicking it off.
You kick it off. Yes.
Okay. Question: do these need to be in order?
You can go 3, 2, 1 if you want, or whatever.
Doesn't matter.
However you want to do it.
I'm going to write them in. Just so you know, I'm going to write them in 3, 2, 1, but it doesn't matter. So, because I have to, because I post them later down the road, and
I'm gonna start with 3. And for me, 3 is going to be the UK, which I don't know. This might be cheating, but I'm going to say, and Ireland's its own country, but I'm going to say a collective of England and Ireland. And specifically, I did a recent trip to England in the fall with Jeff, and we went over to Track Brewing in Manchester to brew a beer. And those guys toured us around so many historical local pubs, and having the cask beer over there kind of blew my mind. Track has one beer called Sonoma, their pale ale. And it's one of my favorite beers ever, especially on cask, and just blew my mind. And then obviously Ireland and Guinness and the whole, regime over there. That's a whole other thing. But I kind of want to lump those in as my number 3.
Okay.
So
the British Isles.
We can go with that. Yeah. Number 2 for me would be Germany. Specifically, I'd say Southern Bavaria.
Munich, Munchen.
Yeah, Munich down to Fusen. I mean, I was over there with Jeff Stu and their other brother Matt and my buddy Scotty, who heads our sales here too. And that was just one of the most epic trips I ever had. You talk about drinking Dunkel. I mean, we were drinking the real beers down there, and definitely had way too many of them. But it was just amazing. And having
there's no such thing, Zach.
I mean, yeah, when you're over there, there really isn't, unless you can't wake up the next day, which might have happened. But
that may have happened to me too.
I love the culture down there and the food that complements the beer too. It's just so unique. It's pretty amazing, and it makes me kind of recognize some of the reasons we do what we do here at Schilling. And then I think for me personally, my number 1 would be Czech Republic. And Dave, it's a touchy subject, I know, but we went from.
I need to get back.
Bavaria over to Pilsen, and the guys over at Luker hosted us at Pilsen, and we just drank a ton of beer.
Wait a second. The guys at Luker
Yeah,
posted you. That's amazing.
yeah, great dudes. And the cool thing about that I found with Prague is you have a number of spots that only pour Urquell. So if you're pouring the same beer, how do you differentiate? Like here in the States, we make different styles. You have different breweries and levels. It's
Well,
over there. It's
Pours.
how they serve them. It's how they serve
the
it,
three pours,
like you were
right?
saying. Yep. So seeing that culture and the pride they take in pouring the beer was pretty amazing. And then we went to Prague, and there's one place I have to highlight in Prague, which might be more of a touristy spot now, but is Ufleku. And Scott and I went there and drank tamave and I probably had schnitzel every meal for like 6 meals in a row with the potato soup and the tamave, and I could do that every day of my life.
By the way, Zach, you're killing Dave right now.
Yeah, you're killing me. Ufleku. I was supposed to be at Ufleku on my birthday.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Instead, I was in the hospital.
Well,
And
you're
not
gonna
only
have to
not,
go
only-
back,
not,
man.
not only was supposed
He
to
got jumped in another bar, and it was a whole scene, and that's why I was in. No, I'm kidding.
I was supposed.
It's not what happened, but-
Not only was supposed to be Ufleku on my birthday, we were supposed to be there, and it was supposed to be. So they actually have like a burlesque show that they do once a month, and for April, they were actually having it on my birthday. And
They scheduled it for Dave on his birthday.
yeah, and I had
He
reservations.
called him up. He says, "Hey, Mr. Flecko."
And I had reservations and everything, and I couldn't. Yeah, couldn't make it. But
You gotta get vengeance, my man. There's a comeback story to all this.
I need to get back. There's so many places I have pinned to get there. The only place that I went to before the incident, we'll call it, was Beer Geek Bar.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about being in Beer Geek Bar, I'm looking at all the brewery stickers on there, and I see Spider Bite Brewing from Long Island, who's a friend of ours. Carton Brewing is on there. Kane Brewing was on there as well. Jersey Brewery.
Nice.
It was just so cool to see these, and I remember sending the picture of the Spider Bite sticker to
Larry.
He's like, "Oh my God, you're a Beer Geek Bar." I put that there
That's
myself.
pretty cool.
That was, yeah. So that was.
Oh, then
that
you put a Coastal and a beer Samurai sticker.
and there's Beer Samurai and a Coastal sticker there as well. So yeah, they're there.
Were you ever able to go to a spot called Pult? P-U-L-T?
Because it was that night. So we're supposed to do so much that day. We spent our day. What happened was the Bahnhof, the German train system. They had a derailment, so our train that we're supposed to take to Praha, we wound up having to take another train, and instead of going up into Germany and then over, we had to go through Austria and up, which was not a bad thing because we were in like one of those old school cars where you've got your own like room with a sliding door and all.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the Austrian countryside as we're going through. We had to transfer.
Not a bad ride.
Oh, we had to transfer trains in Linz, which was cool because we had some Austrian beer in the train station.
Do you have any torts?
Oh, we had a Linzer Tort. Actually, not a fan of Linzer Tort, by the way. But we had to get a Linzer Tort. But so it turned out to be fortuitous. But by the time we got in there, we only had time to go to dinner, and I had to get the pig knuckle.
The pork knuckle, man, unbelievable.
Oh
I had my best pork knuckle of my life. I had at Weinstefan, and it
Bingo.
was oh my.
Fuck yes, absolutely.
Blew my mind.
Hold on. I got something to quote you. Hold on, wait, I got it. Yeah, here they are. There you go.
There they are. You're 100% absolutely correct, Zach. In the Blaustable, that pig knuckle was the best pig knuckle I had, and I had probably about 5 of them on that trip.
I love it.
And that was fantastic. I had one in Bamberg, I had one there, I had one in Munich, and I had the one.
Oh, you've been all over. So what's yours, Dave? Give us yours. I want to hear your top 3.
Let's do your top 3. There you go.
Number 3, you mentioned it earlier. We're going to do some repetition here. Is Ireland, and it's because of the Guinness. If you're a Guinness fan in the United States, you don't know what you're talking about. You've not had Guinness yet. You need to get to Ireland. So we had on the show when we're going to Ireland, we had a contest in the show to guess how many Guinnesses the samurai would drink while in Ireland. And one of the guesses was actually 99.
Yeah.
And we told everybody
20,
how
was it 26 or 28 you had?
22.
22.
Actually.
And it was in the 20s. Yeah.
Because what people don't realize about Guinness in Ireland is it is going to fill you up. It is a meal in a glass. It is heavy.
It's a lot heavier than it is in the States.
In the United States, it is water. It is
water.
black. It's black water. In Ireland,
Goes down easy.
Over there, and you're going to stand at a bar. You're going to talk to someone from Ireland who will tell you everything that's wrong with your country, because that's what they do, and it's a glorious thing, and it's hilarious. They love the Irish. I love how open and forward and direct they are. And you're going to drink this, and it's going to take you half an hour to drink one beer. And you've seen how fast I can drink beers. I can't drink a Guinness that fast in Ireland. In the United States, I could
flip a G.
I could drink 5 Guinnesses in probably about 10 minutes in the United States.
It's not hard to do.
I might have done that last weekend.
But in Ireland, no, it's going to take you a while.
Yeah, I got about another 20. Yeah, you know what? Actually, 20.
No, you're not. We're not allowed to do math in the show, John. Stop.
Yeah.
But you're talking about March 17th when we're going to start drinking. We're going to do
34 days from right now. I just did math. 34 days from
now. You're banned. You're banned from the show.
I'm banned. All right, you run it now.
Yeah, give me the password, asshole.
I can't give it to you. There is none for this.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, number 3 is that. Number two is speculative, because number 2 in August.
Speculative. Where is that country?
It's somewhere between. I have no fucking clue. And sure, no, this one's speculative, because in August, we're doing a trip where we're flying into Amsterdam, immediately taking the train into Brussels, spending 8 days in Belgium. 4 of those days we'll have a car and we'll get to Luxembourg, and then we're going to Amsterdam for 3 days after that. So Belgium is my number 2.
Great choice.
I plan to absolutely destroy my liver, and
like you haven't already.
Yeah, my liver's already on.
What the hell are you talking about? That's done already. I mean,
it's on life support.
That's old news.
Because one of my targets is Delirium Bar and Delirium Village now, because Delirium Village is like 7 different bars at this point. One of those bars being an absinthe bar, which I'm so curious. I do need to try it.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, sounds extremely.
And his liver is completely pissed off at the guest we had on last week, because he said he's going to send him a bunch of stuff to do at Delirium Bar or Delirium Village. Delirium Village, yeah.
Delirium Village, yeah, and all.
Because he's from Belgium, he knows what he's talking about.
And he went to school in Brussels, so he knows. So that's my number 2 is Brussels, but my number 1, and you brought it up, Germany. I've been in Munich a couple of times now. Both times there just made. I only go to make John jealous. I spend so much money.
He goes for no other reason, just to make.
I spend.
Why don't you take him with you next time?
There's no fun in that. There's no fun.
Won't let him.
There's no fun in that. One of my favorite moments is sitting.
Just won't let me either, so it's even.
Sitting in Schneider, sitting in Schneider, drinking Aventinus right off the tap. The tap's right over my shoulder, and sending that picture to John because it's one of his favorite beers ever.
Oof. Got to get over there, John.
But so being down in Germany, down in the Munich area, like you mentioned, Freising's. It's just a short train ride. So getting to Weihenstephan is okay. Walking up the hill to get there is a little taxing. So you've earned your beer by the time you get up there from the train station. But yeah, if you ever get there, take the tour. Wednesdays is the day they do the English only tour. So if you don't know German, that's the day you got to go. But the Brostable is open. Definitely go there. Definitely go and eat. It's one of the best meals you're ever going to have in Germany.
Food's phenomenal. Yeah,
Oh.
I agree.
It's amazing. I learned a little German, and I remember the waitress being so happy when I actually spoke a little German to her, because she knew hardly any English. So we actually started speaking in German. So I think it's the only place I spoke German while I was there. But
That's
also another not a long train ride is Bamberg, and we went up to Bamberg, went to Schlenkerla. We spent the night actually in Spezial.
Nice.
And we just had such a great time there, and just the drinking culture in Germany is so different than it is here because there's always food. There's food. The beer. The beer is not meant to punch you in the face like it is in the United States in so many places. It's not meant to wreck you. It's just so much fun there. Yes, that's a great call. I like that. I do. I love to make Johnny jealous. It's just Germany. If you're going to one country to drink beer and you want to understand how beer should be appreciated with food and with people, Germany, to me, that's the place you need to go.
100%, Dave. That's great. I mean, that what you just said right there defines a key focal point of our ethos at Schilling, which is letting the beer kind of fall into the background of the conversation, the camaraderie, the food. It's the entire experience. And there's a word for it that Jeff uses pretty often called, I don't want to butcher this, but it's Gemütlichkeit, which is kind of that, it's kind of that warmth, that feeling of warmth and the feelings you get through friendship and the experience of sharing those things in the moment.
Absolutely. 100%.
So, cool question. Of the three of us here, how many people have made a best friend for like 3 hours while you're sitting in a brewery?
Multiple times.
Exactly. And that's what beer culture is all about. You go, you bond over it. Michael Jackson put it perfectly. Beer is it's a social lubricant.
100%. I'll give you an example. Jess and I, 6 years ago, we did a 10-day road trip. We went Cleveland, through Michigan, Williamston, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, down through Indiana. We went to Munster. I'll give you 3 guesses where we went in Munster, Indiana.
Was there's a number 3 involved?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Up to Minnesota, went to Minneapolis, came back into Wisconsin, hit Western Wisconsin, went over to Green Bay, down to Sheboygan, down to Milwaukee.
Sheboygan.
Chicago,
I love Sheboygan. That sounds like it should be a place in in Staten Island. Sheboygan.
Well, Sheboygan, Wisconsin, but down to Chicago, down to Indianapolis, through Columbus, Indiana, down to Louisville, up to Cincinnati, Canton, Ohio. I'll give you 3 guesses what we did in Canton, Ohio.
So football involved?
Something like that, yeah. And then Pittsburgh and home. Anyway, point being, we get to Cleveland, and the first brewery we're at is no longer there. They're gone. It's the brewery's gone. It's Platform Brewing. They're thing of the past.
I remember them.
And we sitting at the bar, met this guy Jack. We wound up talking to him for an hour and a half. We're BSing about beer. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Later that night, we see him at where was it? Oh crap! Another brewery. I'll think of the name of it, but another brewery in Cleveland. We see him. We're talking to him there. Then we go to. So we're in Cleveland a little bit longer. We go out to Grand Rapids. We're sitting in Founders. Jack walks in. So we're sitting talking to Jack. We go to we go to another brewery there. The next day we were in Kalamazoo at Bell's. Jack walks in. Later that day we're at Three Floyds. Jack walks in. So
you have a stalker?
No. We're on the same trip basically, right? But he actually on a motorcycle. Okay, kudos to him. He lives in California. He left California, drove south United States to Florida, up to Philly and up to New York and Philly, and then out. He's going back to Washington and then back down there. So he's like,
circumnavigating
the United States.
It's a
right?
good little trip.
It was cool. It was awesome. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah. So to this day, I'll shoot him an email every now and then. You know.
But that's
So
like
that's
that's
cool.
like my experience in Munich, because we bought a Montreal earlier. We're at a brewery in Montreal, and there's these guys there, and they're loud, they're raucous, and they start talking to me. I start talking to them. Carrie and I go off to dinner. They walk in, and we're like hugging each other. We're like, "Oh my god, how long have you guys known each other?" Like about an hour. And we go to. They're actually from Austria.
Wow.
So when we went, a year later, we're in Munich. They meet us in Munich. We spent a whole day
That's
with
cool.
them. And by the end of that day, Carrie somehow or another got me back to the hotel.
There's me and Jack at 3 flights.
You know what, guys? This is so cool. Like, the ultimate thing here is beer brings people together, and those memories you have. It's just
100%.
amazing, man. This is what I love.
Yep.
You
can
guys
say,
are-
however you want to put it together. That beer brings people together. 100%.
I love it. I love
So,
it.
John, your 3 countries.
I got to give you my 3, and as always, in true Log Room Guys fashion, I will just rattle mine off.
Hey, Johnny, what about if you have another spot that is not a country that you want to highlight, we could do that too. Maybe I'm throwing a little curveball. It's up to
We can do
you.
that. I'll list my 3 countries, and then we'll
Okay.
all talk about that. How's that?
All right, cool.
All right,
Sounds good.
So my number 3.
So traditionally, I like to go pee while he's talking about his. No,
Yeah. my number 3 is Belgium. Which we call, and these are all close to each other, but these are my top 3 countries to drink beer in, right? Drink beer from, I shouldn't say, John, drink beer in, drink beer from. As I stated not too long ago, Canada, Mexico, and some islands in the Caribbean. I do love some breweries in Canada, but I'm not listing any of them above these. So even though I haven't been to these countries, these are my 3 favorite. These are where I would like to drink beer. Right. How's that? Okay. So my number 3 is Belgium, 100%. I mean, there's a ton of Belgian, Trappist monastery breweries, and even in Brussels, Delirium Village. But I mean, just forget about it, right? That's my number 3. My number 2, England. I'm a huge fan of English styles, old ales, English barley wines. I could go on and on and on for their ESBs.
I lied, John, and do
You
tap
lied,
out for a second. Be right back.
Yeah, go. Yeah, it's fine. And my number 1 is Germany. My number 1 is Germany. I do have family in Germany. Haven't visited them. Got to get over. My plan is it's probably not going to happen this year because I have 2 weddings this year. Both of my daughters are getting married this year.
Nice.
End of April and beginning of September. So Munich for Oktoberfest in September is not happening this year. So maybe in 2026, but I do want to get over there. And I don't want it to be a whirlwind 2-day Munich, a couple day at Oktoberfest and then home trip. It's going to be a week, 10 days.
Yeah.
And get around, a few days at Oktoberfest, up to Bamberg, up to Freising. I do want to, my last name, if you add an EN on it, about an hour and 45 minutes northwest of Munich is that town.
Oh, that's cool.
Ladungen,
Yeah,
right?
man. You got to do that.
I got to visit, right? And then everybody asks me,
Yeah.
they named the town after you? No, I'm pretty sure they named my family after the town. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That'd be an epic trip for you.
I gotta get over there. But I mean, there's a lot of places over in Europe I want to go.
It's that would be, honestly, man, too. It's tough for me to say the 2. Like my personal experience in Czech Republic that's why I put it at 1. But Germany, it's just speaks for itself, man. I'm going back this summer. I'm gonna do Bamberg and more of northern Germany, which I'm pretty excited about. Which I haven't really. I've been to Berlin, but I haven't really gotten to dive into the beer scene up there yet. So I'm pretty stoked on that.
I hear they do a different type of ice there.
They pour a little syrup. So, John, your number 1 was Germany.
Was Germany? Well, did you have to hear me say it to know that?
No, because knowing you're half German and half Italian, and knowing Italy is more about wine than it is beer, I figured Germany might be your number.
Exactly. And remember that half that's Italian. There's a little. I'm sorry, the half that's German. There's a little teeny part of it that's a little bit of Irish and a little bit of Scottish.
There is that.
It's like one great grandmother was half Scottish, quarter Scottish, quarter Irish, and half German. So,
but if I had given an,
so I'm like what, like 1/64 Irish. And,
if I had given,
yeah.
if I had given an honorable mention, it would have been England because I've got a lot of family there from Manchester. It's as you've been to, so the United fan here for better or worse these days.
Yep, I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you.
And neither of you like the Tottenham Spurs? None of them.
No, the Hotspurs. No.
I'll tell you what. When I was over there, I'm a United fan. Cause I've got a.
Did you get to? Don't tell me you got to Old Trafford.
I did.
Now Dave's jealous.
But when I was down in London, I go to get on the bus, and the driver goes, "Yeah, what team are you?" And I was like, "United." He goes, "Wrong bus, son." And he made me get off because he was a Man City guy. I was like, "This is they're ruthless over there."
I got to ask you: is it? The only reason I bring up Tottenham is a friend of mine that lives over. He was actually originally from Essex. He's a huge Hotspurs fan. But is it? I don't know this for a fact, but is it just me, or is it like the big rivalry is Man City and Man United? The Hotspurs are like the Jets. They're like, oh, we feel bad for you, kind of thing.
Every now and then, pretty on point. Yeah. But the number 3 team there is probably in England is Arsenal. Makes noise every now and then.
Right. Yeah.
Liverpool,
maybe.
Liverpool.
Yep.
Yeah. And the thing is, my family, being from Manchester, we're all United fans. Except there's this one outsider who is a Liverpool fan, and no one talks to her anymore. We think she married into that. Still. Not an excuse. No excuse.
Shunned from the family.
Shunned.
Oh, hell. Oh, and now at work, there's these 2 kids that I work with. They're both City fans.
Oof.
I'm like, don't ever let me know your address and sleep lightly. And they both have these light blue scarves in their cubicles.
Brian Boak just commented again. He said, I'm back. Time to get a beer.
Yeah, it's about fucking time, Brian.
Cheers to Brian.
So on that note,
but there is one honorable mention that we forget because we live here. You got to remember, this country has invented, for better or worse, many styles. Because we like to take these traditional styles and we like to
bastardize it
and amp them up.
Potato.
We like
I'll tell you this. Honestly, though, fellas, you look at, like we mentioned, England, or even when I was in Czech Republic, like new school craft breweries are making the styles we have over here, particularly New England IPA, and they look to us for inspiration. So it's very true, Dave. I completely agree.
Bring it up, Dave. Go ahead.
But you know what I'm going to bring up. So when I was,
they were on the show, so yeah.
Oh no, I'm not talking about them. Okay, yeah, no. So we can talk about them if you want, but there is a brewery.
Just mention that you don't have to talk about them.
There's a brewery in Munich called Giesinger. Giesinger, if you go to their tap room, they do have this really small tap room. It's right by one of the markets, and you can grab the beer, and you can go out and you drink on because the tap room's too small to drink inside of it. You go out onto the sidewalk and you drink, or out to the market and drink. You just make sure you bring the glassware back. But Giesinger, they're trying to be the next tent at Oktoberfest. Now, when you go to the tap room, you would not see this because you're looking at any IPAs. You're looking at a lot of American styles on their tap list. They're making American styles, but they are doing them because an NAIPA, whereas an NAIPA is not Reinheitsgebot, because let's face it, flake dough is not part of Reinheitsgebot. But an IPA actually absolutely is Reinheitsgebot. Right. It can meet all those requirements of Reinheitsgebot. So they do Reinheitsgebot. They opened their brewery. They built their brewery and they drilled down into the aquifer that's necessary to make Oktoberfest beers. They have done everything. They have followed every rule. The only thing that they don't have to allow them to be admissible to Oktoberfest is the years in. But the feel right now in Munich, and I talked to a lot of people. I was there. What is the chances of Giesinger becoming the next 10th there? A lot of people think it's going to happen. They think they're going to waive how long you have to have been a brewery. Because what is it, 100 years, I think?
100 years.
They think that's going to be waived because Giesinger does such good stuff, but they also do American styles.
Right.
And that's why I love these guys. I love what they're doing. They're honoring the tradition. They want to be part of Oktoberfest. They're such a German brewery, but they're also doing American styles and bringing those to the German people as well.
Right.
No, you are not going to see an IPA at Oktoberfest. Don't even think about it.
That's a great crossover, though. New school and traditional, and that's cool to see over there. I've never been to that spot, but I kind of need to add it to the list, I guess.
Yeah, when you get back to Germany, you get back to Munich, put Giesinger on the list. Go drink what they're right by Hockersflor.
Okay.
And then while you're there, stop in and see.
Oh yes, see Higgins
Ale Works. They were on the show. They're in Munich. Higgins Ale Works. They do American styles, right? So they're not looking to get into Oktoberfest, but they're in Munich. They're on the show, but the owners were originally from New Jersey. They moved to Germany and opened a brewery.
And they are in the shadow of Löwenbräu.
That's a bold move, Jersey to Germany. Wow.
And that's how we got them on the show. So I did the show from there. The cool thing is they were having a Scotch tasting in the brewery beforehand.
Who knew?
And so when I went, I decided not to become part of the Scotch tasting, but I went there.
I don't know why you didn't. I would have.
I'm not a huge Scotch fan, by the way.
Yeah, I still would have done it.
But the thing is,
right.
Well, but the thing is, when I got there, the guy who was running it kept handing me glasses of Scotch. And for our other podcast, and a chaser, I wound up interviewing him for it. That was a fun interview. That guy knows what the hell he's doing. And then we went and did that. And then while we're doing the show, it became my birthday, which was kind of cool. But yeah, those guys are really cool. They're doing some great. Higgins is doing some fun stuff with there. They're trying. So the thing about Germany, if you're doing it within Reinheitsgebot, you can call it beer. Okay. Otherwise, it's basically the German word equivalent, which is about 80 syllables long for malt liquor.
I'm gonna need you guys to send me the names of those two spots, and then when I go this summer, I'm gonna need your number, Johnny, and I'll send you some braggy pictures too, flipping the bird. All right.
I love that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you go see Jen and Higgins. Tell them the samurai sent you, and we go to the bathroom.
Okay.
You'll see my sticker in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'd run out of coastal stickers by the time I got to Higgins.
No, you didn't.
Your brewery, your sticker's there.
No, the brewery sticker's there because you had it when you went to
Weissafon.
Yeah, and when you first got to Czechia. Because you went to that one bar.
That's right. Because the Beer Geek bar does have the sticker as
well. Brian actually just said he's drinking Monster Mash out of the kegerator, making me jealous yet again.
Yeah.
So Monster Mash it's Brian's beer. It's a 10% Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a pretty tasty beer that he makes.
Nice.
All right. What's coming up this year, beer wise? Event wise
and Zac wise, where are you going to?
And Zac wise,
where can we find Zac down here?
Absolutely.
Guys, I definitely do a ton of travel, which I'm lucky for in my role. So my first few trips this year will be down to Florida. Our off season up here in the winter is kind of their peak season down there. So I've just got back from Orlando Beer Week. I'm heading down for Tampa Beer Week, and then I do Miami.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I do Irie Jungle down at Tripping Animals in Miami. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good fest.
When is that?
That is April the 19th.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll be in Austin.
Because I'm trying
And
to,
then-
I'm trying to figure out a way to get down for even just a couple of days down to in the area of Port St. Lucie in early March.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have another trip in March, one of my all-time favorites at Good Word Brewing in Duluth. It's called Little Beer.
Okay.
And
Cool.
Todd DiMatteo, this is a phenomenal fest. He's got like 80 plus breweries, and it's all focused on lager and lower ABV beers. And he invites some of the best brewery, like really the best breweries from the country. That's one of the best. Like we go down there and hit Brickstore Pub in Decatur and go to Little Beer, and that's a highlight.
It's called Little Beer.
Yes, it's one of the best. It's one of the best festivals in the country. To be dead honest with you.
Little Beer Festival.
Yeah, Good Word Brewing, Little Beer. Yeah, and it's they do it on the Greenway in Duluth. It's beautiful area, beautiful festival, beautiful beer, beautiful people. I couldn't recommend it more. So I'll be going down to that one. And yeah, I mean the schedule is getting pretty packed. I have a couple trips over to the UK and Germany, which I'm very excited about. But other than that, man, I'm just gonna let them come through and kind of schedule them as they come. But I'm really looking forward to what we're doing here in Littleton at Schilling. With our team, our on-site experience is pretty special when you come up here. We're always trying to expand that and better that program as well.
You guys don't even need to do anything, and the experience is special.
Yeah, we like to keep progressing as much as we can, but I appreciate that, Dave. It's the environment and where we're at, I think, makes it really special, of course, and that's why the guys kind of landed on this spot. But I think for Schilling, we're going to have a exciting year with our team. Definitely looking forward to new beers, new collaborations. We have a few events. Obviously our Oktoberfest and anniversary event at the end of September, we do every year. This will be our 12th anniversary. So pretty special. And then we have a Spring Fest coming up for St. Patty's Day called the Ammonoosuc Festival of Lagers. And that's where we showcase, 15 to 20 lager only breweries that we really admire. And we bring in only lager for that. And that's more like tap takeover style. So our staff curates that and pours those beers from our taps to our three different buildings.
What are these dates?
That is the weekend before St. Patty's. So that's going to be March 15th and 16th, I believe.
14th and 15th. No, 15th and 16th. You're right. No, yeah, 15th and 16th.
I was going to write that down, but my daughter will be up here for a spring break, so that's not happening.
Yep.
Speaking of lager only breweries, and we talked about Human Robot, and obviously in Philly and the Seed and down in AC. But have you been by or had anything or heard of, for that matter, Bird's Mouth?
I have, yeah. Those guys are good, man. I've had them a number of times down at here's another great festival, Log Jamming, that Human Robot.
Human Robot.
Yeah.
I mean, also one of my favorites. But those guys at Bird's Mouth have been there. I haven't been to the brewery yet, but the lagers I've had from them have been great, and they're cool guys. And I want to hit that spot when
Andy and Rocco are great. Andy's a great brewer.
Andy's so much fun.
He's really good. He used to work for Kane.
Yeah, he's
years ago.
Kane alums. Yeah,
Kane alums that opened a brewery.
Nice.
But he brews amazing lagers, and which obviously he's been on the show multiple times actually. But here's a funny thing, and I'll let Dave tell the story really quick because I don't want to belabor it, but at this hour. But as far as his space goes, Dave was in his brewery many years, well before it was ever even thought of being a brewery. In fact, Andy might not have even been born when Dave was in there.
No, he wasn't. I was probably 5 years old. This was the commissary for Fort Monmouth. My father was in the military. We won't get into his story, otherwise we'll be here all fucking night. But he was in the military, and my mom was allowed to shop at the commissary at Fort Monmouth, and so we'd go there. So when I first went to Bird's Mouth, John met me there. I got there before him, and I pulled in the parking lot, and I looked at that building. I couldn't breathe to begin with, knowing my mom took me here. And when you go into it, what's great is Andy has honored what that building is. When you look at the menu that's above the bar, it's one of the signs from the commissary. So seeing that building, going in, seeing that sign was really that was a really special moment for me. It was very emotional for me, and I love the fact that Andy's honored it. He fully understands the building that he's in, and the history behind it. It was one of the when they did a lot of base closures. Monmouth was one of the first ones to fall. What Netflix is opening in Netflix is taking up over a large spot of that.
Netflix
correct?
is taking over pretty much the whole place, right?
Yeah.
Where is that in New Jersey, Dave?
Fort Monmouth. It's in Eatontown and Oceanport. Like it straddles Eatontown and Oceanport.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so if you're, it's close to Long Branch. It's close to Asbury Park.
Yep.
It's in that area. It's Parkway wise. It's exit 105.
Not too far from Red Bank.
Yeah, honestly, guys, I've got no idea. I know nothing about New Jersey. I just know that you can't pump your own gas, and I know where the seat is. That's about it.
The only state that you can't do that now.
Hit me up. It's 20 minutes from my house. So there you go.
Okay.
Not even.
Cool.
Honestly, 18 minutes we could be at Andy's. But
No, there's some good spots. I mean, I'll tell you what I know about New Jersey beer is obviously the Seed, Bird's Mouth you mentioned, Carton obviously we mentioned. I think alternate ending. I think.
Oh yeah. So
Hold
when John mentioned earlier about the Schwartz beer that he was drinking.
No. The black IPA.
I'm sorry, the black IPA that he was drinking
At
Blind
Blind
Tiger. That was a collab with alternate.
It was a collab.
Oh, nice.
Coastal alternate ending collab. Yeah.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Jose's over there. So shout out Jose. And then the last guys that I know that I like from there too is Ghost Talk Brewing. We poured next to them at the Wild Acres. Where I met you guys.
Wild
Yeah.
Acres.
Was Steve there? I can't remember if Steve was
Yeah,
there.
Steve was there.
Steve was there.
Yeah. Those guys are cool, man. They're good. They're good.
Oh,
folks.
Steve is the best. We've had him on the show a couple of times.
Show.
I've gone live on Facebook from Locker Room Guys at their anniversary.
His brewer, Chris, I've worked with at a couple of breweries. Before
awesome.
he got the
Don't sleep on New Jersey beer, man. I'll tell you.
No, it's gotten a lot better. There was a time Jersey beer was
and not that you've had any, and I'll send you some, but you also know another brewery. You know of another brewery in Jersey.
That'd be John's.
There you go.
But there was a time that Jersey beer was so mediocre that we had the best distribution into the state from other states.
Wait, Johnny, is this your brewery, Coastal?
Coastal's my brewery. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And where is that at in Jersey?
We're in we're in between facilities. We're back to contracting. Long story. Tell you about another day.
Okay.
But yeah, the beer's still the beer. So
I'd love to have some, man.
Yeah, I'll
you got to send them some stuff up there.
Awesome.
If you don't, I've got some stuff I can.
I'll send you up our rye ESB. I'll send you up our Schwartz beer.
Send them the Schwartz
and a couple others. Yeah,
I'll take you up on that.
Our Hef, and I'll throw.
You've got to get some of the last IPAs you've done.
Yeah, a couple IPAs. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll shoot them up, but cool. But anyway, where were we? Oh, you're talking about Dave. You were just saying something.
No, we were talking about exactly the places he's going to be when somehow they got to Jersey because he's.
Oh yeah, no. Well, we were just saying that just to say.
But we were also because he was talking about pouring next to Ghost Talk and the thing about
Wild Acres. Yeah.
The thing about being at Wild Acres is that I was really kind of annoyed because they put you guys so far off into the corner. It's like nobody puts baby in the corner.
I like it. I like it. You gotta seek us out, man. Hey, we ripped through.
I'd rather be there.
Fast. Yeah, I was happy
because it's quiet, and then it becomes a secret, and then it becomes everybody's over there. That's what.
So Zach can attest to this. When the event opened, we were there for VIP, and we were Carrie and I were probably two of the first 5 people that showed up at Schilling because I made a beeline for Schilling. Like, holy shit, Schilling's here. We've got to get there. And anytime anyone talked to us about anything, I'm like, did you get to Schilling? Did you get to Schilling?
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
You did.
Thanks,
get to Schilling. Please Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, get over to Schilling. Yeah, go.
Get over there. They're off that direction. No, you don't need to walk up the hill. they're down the hill. Okay, you need to slog through some of the wet stuff, but yeah, they're down there.
Yeah, it was a little rainy that day. It got a little messy.
It got a little messy, but that was a great event. And I'm so glad that we stayed local and could Uber to the event because I could just like haul off.
It's a way to do it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There were so many great breweries there.
If you guys get down to log jamming this year, I'll see you there.
You know what? Here's the thing. I've been wanting to go to Log Jam for so long. It was always the same day since Human Robot's been doing it. It's always the same day as the Atlantic City Beer Music Festival that was on Bader Field. They're not doing that anymore. So we can't do it. They're back in the convention center in April.
So you guys are coming
end of March. So plan on us being this year there.
I love it.
What are the
if for some reason we don't see you before the beginning of June, we'll see you in Philly in the beginning of June.
Okay, so it's June 1st. Oh no, that was 2024. What is
the beginning?
I think I want to say it's the 7th.
Yeah. It's the first Saturday in June is when it is.
Oh, I will absolutely fucking be there. I have no excuse to not be there. Actually, it's saying it's May 31st.
No.
What's saying?
That's Log Jamming Lagerfest. Is that it?
What is saying?
Yeah.
That is saying May 31st, 2025, 1 to 5 o'clock at Cherry Street Pier in Philadelphia.
I'll tell you when it is.
Is that something else?
It is on. No, hey guys, it's June 7th.
It's June 7th. It's June 7th.
Okay, so there's something else that I'm seeing that's just wrong. Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to that.
Yeah. So June.
Hey guys,
7th.
I didn't realize the time here. You guys got me lost in the sauce a bit.
It always happens.
I'm getting blown up here, so I gotta.
Yeah.
Wait. I am too. Dinner's been waiting downstairs, and I gotta go. And yeah, so
I got work in the morning, so,
and he's got work in the morning. Right. So yeah, we'll reconnect. Zach, I'm gonna send you. I'll send you my cell in the email. I don't know if you have Dave's or not or whatever, but feel free to bust my balls whenever you are anywhere.
Yeah, make him give you the finger. Absolutely.
And
hey, thank you both so much, man. This was fun.
No, this is fantastic. No, look, bottom line, Schilling, anything coming up? Anybody need to get up there or see you at an event with shortly?
No. Definitely get up there. If you've not sat.
No, I'm asking him to say if there's something coming up that.
Okay.
No, I would just say like Dave was about to say. I kind of am with you. Just come visit us here in Littleton. I think it's the best way to experience our beer is with our team, sitting on the river and drinking the beers that we make. So definitely come see us. I'll be up here most of the year when I'm not traveling. But if not, I look forward to seeing everybody out and about in the market too. So.
100%.
Whether I catch you there or up in Littleton, we'll be up here. So come see us when you can.
Or both, and we will get up there. I will definitely get up there at some point this year, and I'll definitely see you in Philly in the beginning of June as well.
Yeah, Philly's a def. Getting up there this year probably,
and hopefully by the beginning of June, Philly will get back to its calm self after 2 days ago.
That doesn't exist.
No. I just mean like the polls will be ungreased.
No, I know. Yeah.
There's no such thing as calm in Philly.
You're right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much, man.
All right, thank you for coming on. Absolutely. And guys, from us, seriously, get your asses to Littleton, New Hampshire. Go to Schilling. Get up there. Plan on spending 3, 4, 5 hours there. Plan on spending a while there. Eat, drink, enjoy the scenery. It's amazing. Yeah. Take a walk over the covered bridge and back over the Amanuset.
And if you're lucky, they're having like an arts festival across the other side.
Right across from the bridge.
They do a lot of festivals over there. So if you can time it for one of those festivals, you're golden.
100%. So anyway, but on that note, we will wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, Like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn Podcast Addict, CastBox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes, pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you will find the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Zach, once again, thanks for coming on. Before you hit this sign off, hold on 1 second. We'll talk to you for 2 seconds after we sign off. But hang on one second.
It's
Thanks,
probably
guys.
probably a little longer than 2 seconds.
Maybe 3 or 4. No, I got to go to the bathroom. So it's
Cheers,
only 3 or
fellas.
4. So.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. It's been an awesome show. Folks, drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.